An educated and united public cannot be controlled. Get organized. Learn to be active.
Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub that?
Yeah, man, let's do it, dog. Let's get it
Your
done.
buttons and they get you emotionally charged. Meanwhile, they slide out the back door with the bag.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. We got new gear alert. New gear. How do I sound? How do I sound? I have no idea how I sound to y'all. An educated and united public cannot be controlled. Get organized. Learn to be active. Investigate both sides of the argument. Come up with your own conclusions.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Choose your destiny.
Earphones are loud as hell in my ears.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka. Yeah. Woke up. I ain't feeling your side.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, an educated public cannot be controlled. Learn to be active. The views and events expressed here are totally whack and are not necessarily the views of anyone. ¿Cómo estás? Bien, 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 bien. ¿Podemos ayudarnos más? Sí se puede. And don't take my word for it. Look that mess up, please, for your own benefit. Please do it, do it, do it. I know I'm late, y'all. I apologize. I'm mad late. I got some good excuses though. Fair excuses, if you will. I had to do an elevator pitch for one of my classes and it's due tomorrow and I work tomorrow night. So I had to do it before I came on and it was a recording. So I had to write it and record it and make sure it was up under 30 seconds and stuff. Hopefully I did a good job. I don't know. We're going to find out, but right now I have an A in that class. So I'm really not overly stressed about it. Also got new gear. So I had to, plug that up and unbox it and make sure that that was working properly or whatever. And I worked tonight, so I didn't get out of there until after it was just about almost 11 o'clock, a little while before 11 when I got out of there. So I had to drive home and all of that. So I ain't gonna be lie to y'all. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on because I'm tired, but I really do want to make sure I get some clips going, and I will do a show tomorrow, Sunday night. I'll probably do a full show for Sunday night. And tonight I want to make sure that the gear sounds good or whatever. And I got some clips for some videos. I was doing some editing and I was listening to the sound and it was so horrible, man. When I was talking to Doc on the show and I asked Doc, how do I sound? He said I sound great. I don't know if he was just being cool because, we do the show together or whatever. But when I was going back and doing the editing, the sound sounded terrible. So I had a whole list of clips that I had already edited, like I don't know, 10 plus videos that I did. Took the time to edit and everything, and I never uploaded them because the sound was so bad. And I'm like, I'm trying to grow the channel, and I get new viewers all the time, and somebody's going to come in on the show and it's going to sound terrible, and then they're going to unsubscribe or whatever the hell's, I felt like it was going to damage the channel more than help. So I just scrapped all of those clips. And that's the main reason why I want to make sure that I come on tonight so that I can have some clips for y'all when I do the editing and the videos, because that's where I get most of my views. The live show doesn't get very many views, I ain't gonna lie. Rumble, I do get hundreds of views on Rumble. They watch streams on Rumble, but on YouTube the streams don't get very many views. The clips, the video clips, the shorts, they get views on the show. So I want to make sure that the sound quality is good for those people, because they subscribe based on those and they check me out later based on those. So that's what it is. And another thing, I listening to myself doing the editing, I think that people are misunderstanding me, and I think that I bite my tongue too much when I'm doing this show, and it leads people to not understand what views I have or whatever perspectives that I have on certain topics or whatever. And I really just don't want to be misleading people. When I put up the shorts, I get a lot of subscribers, and then those people come back and they watch the clips and then they unsubscribe, because I think that when they watch the shorts, they have this view that that they think that I'm supporting certain things, and I'm not, and they don't know that until they watch the more full clips. I think that's what's happening. I got, it's either kids like and old folks on YouTube, like it seems like there's no real in between. And I don't get kid viewers, and my the clips that I put up are not for children. I put them up that allows for comments and stuff like that. So if they're like under 18, they can't even really view it or whatever, unless they got like fake accounts or whatever, but whatever. So, like I say, to kind of give a little rundown on how like my political perspective is, like, I'm pro-choice, I'm pro-gun legislation or whatever. I feel like people should be able to have their guns, but I feel like there should be certain amount of legislation that protects the rest of us, and gun owners. So it shouldn't just be a free for all with guns. That's just how I feel on that. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I think it's two wings of the same bird. I think it's good cop, bad cop. And, especially the two choices that we have, for this, for the presidential nomination, I don't like either one of them. I'm not a fan of Trump, and I'm not a fan of Biden, either one of them. But I will say that Trump has some policies that I like, and Biden has some policies that I like. That's what I'll say. And as far as politics overall, I feel like the local elections are what's important right now. In Houston, we have its elections going on right now. So go vote, and on one hand, and then on the other hand, I feel like, our vote is a pacifier. It's something that just kind of makes us feel like it's making a difference when it's not. But on the national scale, the vote probably doesn't make that much of a difference. And on a state scale, maybe it doesn't either, but locally it does. So you should go vote in your local stuff, because that stuff really does make a difference. And if you can get groups together, if you can get your friends and family or whatever, and y'all can have voting parties or whatever, if y'all can organize stuff like that, that is a good thing too. That really does make a difference for your local situations, school boards and stuff like that. Like the local offices are the ones that really have an impact on your life. Like who is the president a lot of times is not affecting your life, that much. But who is over these smaller offices really do have an impact in your local areas. So those are the things that we need to focus on. And that's the reason why the media focuses on the major elections. And a lot of people only vote when the presidential election comes around, and there'll be countless elections that happen in between the presidential elections, but the media covers the big elections. And it's a lot of times it's really hard to even find out who's running and what policies they have. The League for Women Voters is a website that I know has good information about who's running and what their policies are and what they support or whatever. So that's one good source that I know that I use personally that helps me, with stuff. And you can always do like search up that person's name and like kind of look up their website or whatever. That helps or whatever. So anyways, I'll probably come back around to that because I wanted to try to be more clear about where I am and where I'm coming from, whatever. I cover, we cover news, we cover politics, we cover socialism. What am I trying to say? I'm rambling. Freaking social issues. We cover race. All the things that are really difficult to talk about is like that's the point of this show, and to actually have a discourse with people who have opposing views, and just to show that we can have a conversation even though we don't agree on certain things. Like certain things we have a hard-lined view on things, we can still have a conversation with somebody who has a hard-line view that is opposed to yours. And I think that for us to move forward as a society, as a community, as humans, we have to be able to have these discourses. And right now, the media wants us to be at each other's throats. And that look at what Congress, look how little has been getting done. We've had the least effective congressional session like ever this past cycle. And it's gridlocked basically, and so you got your hardliners on one side and your hardliners on the other, and nobody wants to work with each other to get anything done. And that's not good for us. The American people, we lose at the end of the day. There's things that can be improved and should be improved. And that's what we need to focus on. And for us to get anywhere with those things, we got to be able to have some kind of conversation. So that's it. If we're just spewing insults at each other and repeating talking points and just like, partisan views, then we're never going to get anywhere. So we have to be honest. That's the base bottom line, have some honesty and integrity, get away from these bad faith arguments and actually, like if I don't like you, if I hate you or whatever, I have a prejudice, I have a judgment that I hold dear to my heart, then that is what it is, and we can get that out and we can say that and we could be like, I really just hate such and such or whatever, and that we can start there. We really can. But if we can't even get to the point where we can be honest about how we really feel about things, and because the other person picks up on that. It's subtle. It's like, the gaslighting doesn't work, at some point. At some point, people realize that you're full of crap. You know what I mean? You're not being genuine. And therefore, the conversation ends there, the actual conversation. Like the words might still be going back and forth, but the conversation has ended. It's over. Anyways. The name of the show today is Beginning of the End. And the idea of that title is, are we at the beginning of the end of Western civilization kind of ruling the world, if you will? Like, the European countries dominating the global sphere, related to politics, related to war, related to culture, What we do well in the United States is we export culture, and it goes around the world and influences people around the world and how they live and how they view things or whatever. So I'm thinking, it's a good question to ask, with the conflict that's going on in the Israel Hamas conflict that's happening, and what impact is that having on the global discourse related to, you know, European countries' influence in the world. Same thing with the Ukraine Russia conflict that's happening. The coups that are happening in Africa. What influence is this having? The BRICS. Are we turning into a multipolar world, where trade is not dominated by certain groups or whatever. You have competition on a global scale for culture and for trade or whatever. Are we at the beginning of the end of like uh the the dollar, the hegemony of the dollar, you know, of its influence in the world? That's the question I have, and that's kind of what I want to focus on. But we're gonna come back to that and do what we do. If you guys watch the show, y'all know how it goes. What's up, Pat? How you
What
feeling?
what's the deal? What's the deal? I'm feeling good, man. How about yourself?
Great, man. I'm glad to hear you. I didn't think I'd have anybody in here tonight since I came in so late. How was the sound? How does the mic sound to you?
Sounds fair to me. I mean, I heard what you said earlier, so I'm not gonna go with the excellent. Sounds excellent. Sounds great, but no, I hear you clearly, and
Yeah.
it sounds pretty good on my end.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep on improving the gear. I want to get me a gaming chair because sometimes I sit here, I'll be here for 6, 7, 8 hours doing the show. And when I get up, my legs are like locked up and my back is hurting and stuff. And I know it's not healthy for me. So I need to have healthier thing, and I need something to break up the background noises that the mics pick up and stuff like that. I really just want to and keep improving the quality of the product that I'm creating here.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's going to be necessary, either way. But I mean, I think so far everything's been going pretty good. Sounds good to me.
Let me ask you this. This is a question I asked somebody at work today. I was like, "Do you think Donald Trump has 355 million in liquid cash to pay
Mm,
this?"
well, that's a tricky question because, does he have it? I mean, possibly, it's a possible yes and a possibly no. Um, and if he does have it, does he want to spend it on what?
What?
Uh,
Well, nobody
what, what,
would want to
what
come off of
no,
that.
no.
No.
What I'm saying is, I mean, if you have $1 billion, like who wants to spend 30% of it on some bullshit fines
Shit.
they done that
Yeah,
somebody's put on?
that's almost half. And with the interest, he's got daily interest that's already occurring. And the New York District Attorney, she said that if this guy can't pay, we're gonna seize some assets. And I want to say I'm gonna get into it, but I don't know for sure if I have a story about it. But that he's having trouble with the appeal already. He said he's gonna appeal it and push it back or whatever, but he has to pay this huge fine to even do that. Like it's a bond or whatever he has to pay, you know, to even go down that road. So I don't think Donald Trump has that cash, bro. Like I don't think he has the. I mean, who has that kind of cash, anyways? Like it's people who are wealthy. Their money tends to be tied up in assets, and it's not
Well, that's
easy
that.
to just liquidate, you know,
Yeah, well,
assets.
that's the trick of it all. I mean, a bunch of us learned a big lesson when it came to Kanye West and how his money. He's a billionaire 9 times over, but then, you know, in 2 days, he's only worth a couple of 100 million. So, I mean, it's really, and then like, I mean, the whole case that he's under, because I mean, if you really look at the actual values, what he might value it at, and then what the actual value, because I mean, if you really think about it, how many people really is willing to spend the money that you say that it's worth? And that's the only time you really get, when you actualize your assets. That's the only time you really know what they really worth, because you find out who will actually pay for it. So
Hmm.
a lot of that stuff is smoke and mirrors. But I mean, to some extent, I would say that we can base it on something, but it's still you never really get an actual part, because that's why I kind of feel like I guess there's some legitimacy in this whole case, but based on the fact it is state of New York, and they said that this is what they're doing, based on law. But when it comes down to it, the only person that can really, Mar-a-Lago has to go for a sale in order for it to really get the actual value. And then, like, it's common practices that they're really trying to get him on, and it's almost like no remote, like some of this stuff I don't think is really makes any sense, especially on something that's in another state. Like, why are you trying to
Well,
charge?
that's
How,
that's
how,
all New York stuff. That this whole thing is based in New York, and that's why it was going viral. The trucker, this guy was saying, "I'm not going to deliver to New York or whatever. We're going to stop doing any kind of deliveries to New York. We're going to boycott New York because of this. What they're trying to get Trump on in New York related to this
yeah,
this amount of money." And like, I mean, he's trying to sell the shoes. He already started a GoFundMe. Like I say, I don't think he has that cash, and that's a real problem because the interest is gonna occur. Even if he's able to get this appeal going, the interest will still continue to occur. And if he ends up losing, he's gonna be paying. He's gonna have to pay that money, man. He's gonna have to find a way, and then like, hey, he's gonna probably lose some assets to get that money paid. This dude is in a pickle.
yeah, man. This is some wild stuff, bro. Look, it is what it is, though. I mean, look, when you piss off the wrong people, this is the type of stuff that's gonna happen. So, you know, you gotta either continue, you're gonna either fold, make deals, do whatever it is, or you can continue to fight and see see if your your legal team has enough knowledge to be able to get you through this, because that's really.
Some crazy stuff. I don't know that we've ever seen anything like this before. I think we're in new waters, if you will.
But see, my whole thing too is like we live in a whole system that is like not an actualized system, because like I mean, what true value can, like what resource can we really lean on to trade the money for, to say that okay, I have some value and I can take it and go to another country and start over.
Yeah, well, I think that even this Trump case kind of points to a lot of the hypocrisy and shady and fugazi of our monetary system. Like because him what he was doing was fraud, though. Like there's no ifs ands or buts about it, and people have gone to jail for this stuff that he was doing. It has
Hmm.
so like, but it is common, like you said, it is a common practice of you know inflating the value of your assets to secure loans based on that value, because it's just like when you getting your house appraised or whatever, you get multiple appraisers, and it is illegal, but like I say, you could get an appraiser to do a high end appraisal of your property, and that can help you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You got people out there that's willing to, if you pay them on the side, they're willing to fudge those numbers a bit. And that
But at
happens
this
common.
but at the same time, you know, who which one of those people are even when they go and fudge these numbers, whether it was or either they were just wrong in their analysis. 'Cause I mean, there's a lot of fraud that's going on in Louisiana, really across the country. Because I mean, if you really think about how they you know have a white family 3 houses down selling their home compared to the black family, you know, the exact distance away selling their home, and one can get $50,000 more, $100,000 more for their home for pretty much the same type of home.
Yeah. And
So that's fraud too.
yeah. And so, but that kind of goes along with, like you said earlier, who's willing to pay for it. So on that side, it's like, if the somebody is willing to pay that amount, then you found somebody that's willing to pay that amount. And the black family may have more difficulty finding somebody to pay that amount, even if all the square footage and everything is, lines up the same. But it's complicated because a lot of factors are involved in this kind of thing. But people know that that's true. It was a lady who put her house up for sale, and she took down all the pictures of her family and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and and her house appraised for more, just based off of that. And
Hmm.
so that just shows how, but again, like I say, it's a lot of factors involved. Let's look at some headlines right quick. So the top headline here on AP, it says Trump wins South Carolina easily, beating Haley in her home state and closing in on GOP nomination. It says Donald Trump has won South Carolina's Republican primary, beating his last major rival, former UN ambassador Nikki Haley in her home state. And if people keep asking her, why you haven't dropped out or whatever, it's like, why you keep going, why you keep pushing. Like, the opportunity for her to get the nomination is like,
Dead
yeah, pretty much get struck by lightning 3 times in this,
tomorrow.
on the same day or something. Like, it's and win the lottery and get the NBA draft or something. Like, it's the chances are very, very, very slim. So
It started out that way.
I don't know, what is she holding on for. Do she think that Trump's
There
going to
was
go to
there was
jail?
people that was more popular than her, even like earlier in the race, that said, that had higher chances, that was in there. Like they like at this point, if they were still in, like they probably still have a better chance than she had at any point in the race. And it's because of who she's running with, or running, the people that's funding her, and these, like the cheaters, the ones that's willing to cheat for her. You know what I'm saying? Looking at trying to pull something off, but like
I
she
think
never really had a big
I think she's running for the VP. And even though they've
no.
having choice words with each other right now, between
Well, that
Trump and Haley, I think that she still has a good chance to be on the ticket.
I don't know if that's I look, that would be the weirdest thing ever, because I mean that would sound like a Joe Biden and Kamala Harris issue, because that's exactly what happened when they were running against each other.
Hey,
Uh, but
politics, that's how it goes.
Well, but that to me would signal just how much of a, you know, how much of a game it is. And yeah, I think it's a lot more. Well, I really I can't say that, because I don't know for sure. I can say it, but I mean, like, I think Trump would definitely take it way more serious than what he is. And look, there's better options if it's actually his choice. So, but just like what's his name was not his first choice. Um, Pence wasn't really his choice. That was the option they gave him for them to give him the nomination. So he went along with that deal. So all right, I get to be president and try to do the things I want to do, but I got to take this sucker along with me. Pretty much type of deal.
Let's read a couple of headlines. It says U.S. and British strikes on Houthi sites in Yemen answers militant surge in Red Sea attacks on ships. So yeah. It says another one. It says many in Myanmar consider fleeing to Thailand to escape conscription into an army they despise.
Who is that?
Myanmar. They're talking about fleeing to Thailand because they don't want to go to the army. It makes me think about
But what army is that? It's China?
the Myanmar army. I was thinking about this. Makes me think about China because it's been a lot of clips I've been seeing where they're talking about it's so many Chinese immigrants coming into the United States through the southern border. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I probably sent you some of it.
Yeah, so that sounds weird to me. It seems like the focus is shifting related to the southern border where they're talking about people coming in from all around the world or whatever, versus just South and Central American people, you know.
But no, that's been that. If you haven't been paying attention, like that's what people have been saying for a while, and then they've been unless you're listening to, you know, just certain news outlets that this, you know, they're just now adding that piece into it. But it's like, hey guys, these are like military age guys. These are not women and children coming here, and you know, or families. No, these are majority men, military age. So the concern with that is like, okay, so what is the motive here? Like, why, you know, why is it just men? Like, it's, you know, there are no women that's, you know, seeking asylum. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's really going on? And then from the different countries, like some of these countries didn't have any issues to seek asylum for. So that's where, you know, some of us have been tooting the alarms, like, you know, it's not hate for any type of, you know, any immigrant. It's just the fact that, okay, our security is at risk because obviously, you know, like, and say obviously, but there's a lot of things that's going on that we can't answer, and we're wondering, okay, how do we protect ourselves? Is this something that, because, you know, our current president doesn't want to do anything about, is not willing to really even have a, you know, real discussion about it? Is this a part of the plan? Is this, you know, a part of the, you know, what he got paid for? What they're saying that China paid him to do was to allow certain things to happen in benefit of their bigger plan, their agenda.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is political posturing. Let's play some this. I want to do this. This is really hilarious to me. Check this out, y'all.
Damaged.
My car is
Is
damaged.
where? Is
Right
your
here. If you want to see, you can
oh
come over.
shit?
Why are you hitting my car, lady?
Because it's not damaged. You bitch. Did you tell her to get away from me? She's crazy.
Just cook, cook with, and
It's not damaged.
I mean, usually what you're supposed to do
You don't
in an
have to-
accident
yeah.
is we exchange information.
Bitch.
With the walk off.
So wait a minute,
Well,
she
it's
hit the
crazy
lady's
bad.
car and mad because hers is not damaged.
Is she driving away?
License?
Yeah. I got it now. She just drove away.
Yeah, we don't know what happened before, but clearly, you know, see her bumper is poking out a little bit there. So when the lady was hitting it, she she hit it right back into place with that last hit right there, boom, and it's sealed. So it's like, I don't know, man. I'm on both sides of this because she's like, it's not, her argument is it's not damaged, and once she hit it, it did kind of go back in place. But you know how those like little step be in there that hold your bumper, they can get a little stripped or whatever. So even though she pushed it back into place, it possibly slide back out later or whatever. But then it's like, how much, how much time you got in the day to deal with stuff like this? I mean, like your insurance is probably going to go up. I mean, it could be a come up for you or whatever. I mean, it depending on what kind of car. If I just had a brand new car, then maybe I would file this. But other than that, I probably wouldn't. It's just, the situation is really funny to me. This is really hilarious to me. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if something down the road happens, either way, whether it's, how she feels later, if the car isn't actually, there's creases or something that, she's not going to want to repair on her own. It's like, look, we got to do something here now, because like that's like you see things later that you don't see right now in the moment.
Right. That happens. And she got the lady's license plate number, so she could definitely get in trouble for leaving the scene of an accident. That's an issue. So, but I mean, it depends on how much this other lady wants to push the issue with this. But I just find this clip really, really funny. Everything is bizarre. She hugs the black guy. She's like, tell her to leave me alone. She's crazy.
Where did he come from? So he wasn't in either one of the cars?
I don't think so. He's just it looks like he's at work or something, like at the wherever they are, a grocery store or something. Maybe he's a car pusher. Yeah, he's probably a witness.
Gotcha.
Let me see it. Let me play one more time.
But those are the worst. The ones
Here's
that
that
happen.
My car is damaged.
Where?
A
Right
dealership.
here. If you want to see, you can
Oh,
come over.
shit.
Why are you hitting my car, lady?
Because it's not damaged.
It's not
Bitch.
damaged.
Tell her to get away from me. She's crazy.
She's crazy.
Just talk with
It's not damaged.
I mean, usually what you're supposed to do
You don't
in an
have to-
accident
yeah.
is we exchange information.
Bitch.
That's funny.
Oh man. Comments. It says everything in this video screams full moon energy. It is a full moon right now. It's been catching my eye too. I don't know why, but this particular full moon has been catching my eye. Every time I go outside, I just like, I don't know, the sky is being really clear, so that's probably why it's like catching my eye. But beautiful full moon right now. Another comment says, nah, she did fix the problem though. And she did. When she banged it, that last little bang, whoop, you see it fall right back into place. These bumpers are so freaking flimsy. I don't know. They probably just had a little barely bump, maybe she backed into her or something in the parking lot, and the lady probably was like, hey, let me get your insurance information, and she's like, it's not damaged. Like,
hey, I guess depending on what side of the I'm on, who I am in this situation, it's kind of like you're gonna have those different views, because if you're the one that hit me, you're at fault. Yeah, you're trying to figure out a way to make this go away. But the other one's like, look, all right, if it's not damaged, if it's no big deal, then we'll figure that part out later. But license, registration,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me see. I'm reading another comment. It says, insurance adjuster here. She needs to call her insurance and have them to search for the other car insurance by the LP and file claim on that lady's insurance and provide them with this footage. Problem solved. And for the people saying her car is fixed, she could have sensors that could be damaged because it doesn't take much. Get an expert to look at it to be sure. And it's gonna probably be a rip off. Whoever fixes your car too is probably gonna rip you off. I mean, like, who are you gonna go to get a good deal on this? Something like that. You probably need to go through the dealership. They're gonna charge you a lot. Like I say, your insurance probably gonna go up as a result of it. I don't know that I would even go through the drama related
Well,
to it.
there's a lot of insurances now that no, like shoot, my my ex-wife had quite a few accidents and my insurance didn't go up. But I mean, I guess I don't know. She was never really it was never really her fault that I could see, But however,
Yeah.
yeah.
A couple more comments. It says popped her car's shoulder back in place and drove off. LMAO. The other one that says, why was she consoling that man? This is another one that says, I'm on the white lady's side. It's funny. Another one that says, this is both cringe and hilarious at the same time. Yeah, this clip caught my eye. I'm gonna clip this up and use it for like a transition because it's really funny to me. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. I don't know. I just wanted to touch on that because it was funny to me. Trump did a speech and people are kind of mad at some of the comments. I don't know if it's in this one. Let me see. Do I have it? I hate it when I just bring stuff up and then have to look for it. Let's see what this one is. It says Donald Trump says the black people like him because he's been discriminated against in the legal system. There could be some truth to that.
Second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. But and then I got indicted a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. But
what do you think about that?
I would accept that better than what the Fox News guy said the other day when he came out with the shoes and said that black people are gonna follow Trump now because he's got shoes and they love shoes.
Yeah, I got that clip. I'm gonna play that later.
That's
Yeah,
some bullshit. It's like, there's a lot of black people that started supporting Trump for reasons that was not either of these right here. It's more, policy driven, what he's actually standing for or fighting for, at least what he says anyway,
yeah. What he's saying here may be true. Saying that black people supporting him because they feel like he's getting discriminated against in the legal
No,
system.
I definitely agree with that. That's a part of it, but and that's different sectors because I mean, people who don't really understand politics is like maybe because I mean a lot of people still deal with their politics emotionally, and for those who do, yeah, that might be a simple answer to it like that. But I mean, I think that I don't know if I want to live in that reasoning.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
yeah,
and honestly, I'm like losing a lot of hope for him. Because I mean, there's other options that maybe we should consider. I don't. Well, and that I don't know. Did you see some of the stuff I was sharing about this other guy that's running?
I'm sure I looked at some of it. I don't remember exactly what you're talking about, but let's
All
read.
right. Well, we can mention it later if you like, but
Yeah, we'll come back to it. Let's read some comments. It says Donald Trump said black people like him because he has faced discrimination in the legal system, which is something black people can relate to. So I think that this is kind of like saying a quiet part out loud too, because a lot of people will argue saying that black people don't suffer from
For
discrimination within the legal system. You know, that they're just criminals, they do bad stuff and then they go to jail, like, right? So,
yeah,
but with Donald Trump saying this, then it's kind of like giving credence to the idea that black people do get discriminated against within the legal system.
no, everybody knows that that's that part is true. It's just like some people may not be willing to admit it, but most people know it, whether they admit it in public or not. Like nobody, that's just like when old girl asked a group of people, like the whole stadium of people, hey, who wants to be, like who wants to trade their place, trade being white to be black, and like nobody got quiet. So, oh, wait a minute, y'all must not have heard what I said, and says it again because it's like everybody knows. It's just that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a lot of pretending, but I think that is a lot of people that really do feel like, that is that the legal system is fair and just.
No, well, nah, they're just good liars.
Let me read another comment. It says, "Nah, bro, you're just funny, and Biden ain't passed out no stimulus money." He is pretty funny, I ain't gonna lie. Another comment, it says, "Remember when Joe Biden said you ain't black if you don't vote for him?" People not gonna let that go. People not
Right,
letting that go.
and there's a bunch of people trying to make excuses for him when he said that. Ah, man, how you gonna hold that against him? I was like, bro, like how can I not, like how can I just really just let that go? Especially knowing he's like the most racist politician that has sat in the seat of president. And
I don't know if I would go that far, but he does have some history. Let me read this one. It says, "Nah, black people just don't like Biden and think you're funny." That's fair right there. He is pretty funny, and a lot of black people don't like Biden. So another one, it says, "On behalf of black people, nah, bro." Another one, it says, "He pissing on our culture and y'all drinking it like it's water." He's a politician. That's what they do. Another one that says, "Crazy. They've been after this man for 7 years and he's still on top."
Mhm.
Another one that says, "No, we don't like you." Another one that says, "If you care about this country's well-being, do us a favor and vote Trump." This is on No Jumper. This is like it's not a political page. It's a social, like it's a black people social page. Like they do like
No jumper.
rappers and stuff. Yeah, that's the page that posted this No Jumper.
Well,
This,
yeah. I mean, you can't help what I mean, because I mean, the average person, the comments are coming from people who are being political. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But may not be
yeah.
a political page, but it's kind of hard to take the politics out of it, out of our everyday life. You know.
Let me read a couple more. It says, "Black people in the 80s sure did like him when he wouldn't rant to them because of their skin color, or when he made them leave the floor when he was present with his rich white buddies. Everyone seems to forget that." Trump has been a figment. He's been a feature in black culture for a long time. Like the rappers use his name. I can think of lines from rap songs that they use Trump's name since the 90s.
Hmm.
Like they want to be like Trump.
But when they start getting, because see, that's the whole thing. When they start getting paid by corporations and political peoples, all that changed. Because I mean, if I mean, you really think about it, a bunch of the people, I mean, the money's in politics, most of it is on the Democratic side. So
They-
when those monies are not available for in advertising and whatever, whatever voice they're trying to use to get a message out, they're willing to pay for that message. Excuse me. And that's how most entertainers get paid. Like they're become the voice of the people. somehow.
Mm, I don't know how we got there, but I think that is true. But it's kind of like with the politicians too, because it's like they are supposed to be our representatives, but they come from a position of like they're our leaders and they're supposed to tell us what to do. And it's like, I don't know how we got there. That's not the way it's supposed to work.
No, and I mean it's a bad thing, but I mean too many people fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Check this out. It says why Texas Republicans aren't talking about abortion ahead of the primaries. It says this year's presidential election is the first since Roe versus Wade was overturned and Texas began banning nearly all abortions. But on the campaign trail, few GOP lawmakers are talking about their signature abortion restrictions.
But why would they? I mean, they've gotten what they wanted so far, so there's no need to blast that. Now, if they were maybe still fighting for certain things, maybe they would make it some kind of awareness of the needs, that the changes that need to come from it. But I mean, shit. I mean, they're controlling that whole narrative. Why do they need? Other people should be talking about it.
That's a really good point, I would say. But you do have politicians talking about a nationwide ban. It's just like what they're saying is they're not bringing this stuff up. Let's read this one. It says at the Texas Rally for Life last month, no Republican politicians addressed the crowd. In stump speeches across the state, incumbents are more likely to touch on immigration and school vouchers than abortion. It says experts say among the reasons are that most Texans don't agree with the strictness of the new laws. Abortion measures aren't a priority for Republican voters this election cycle, and Democrats aren't applying pressure yet. So he's saying experts are saying that the Texans don't agree with the strictness of the law. So that's the reason why it's really not that popular, I think. And that's the reason the politicians know this. So then, they don't want to talk about something that's going to turn off their audience or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that's why they're avoiding the topic.
Well, that too. And also, like, one of the reasons why the Democrats are not talking about it is because, like, they weren't mad about it being turned over either.
Well, let's read this. It says this year's presidential election is the first since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade and Texas began banning nearly all abortions. But on a campaign trail in Texas, few GOP lawmakers are talking about their signature abortion restrictions. This may seem counterintuitive for policymakers who are coming off of two major legislation victories in passing the citizen-enforced 6-week abortion ban in 2021 and the near total trigger ban that took effect after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. I think they see that the law that we have are working as the legislation intended, said Joe Podgman, executive director of Texas Alliance for Life. But there are political reasons that could explain that decision, said Joshua Blank, research director at the University of Texas at Austin's Texas Politics Project. Let's read some comments. It says, because taking away a woman's bodily autonomy and a family's right to make decisions about childbearing is non-negotiable, we will vote every single Republican out of office. What's really, and I want to get into this. I have some clips, but the in vitro, I'm not saying it right.
In vitro.
In vitro, the frozen babies. What state? Arkansas, I want to say. One of the states said that's a life, and it's causing them to have to close down certain. Let me get it. Let me see if I can find that. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find that. Because I know I shared a couple of those. Wait, is this one? Let's see this.
Reaction to the Alabama Supreme Court ruling on the fact that embryos are children?
Yeah, I was all for it. You just got to look at everything going on in the country. It's just an attack on families, it's an attack on kids. Anything that we can do for the future of our young people, because they're our number one commodity. we need to have more kids. We need to have an opportunity to do that. And I thought this was the right thing to do. But
IVF is used to have more children, and right now IVF services are paused at some of the clinics in Alabama. Aren't you concerned that this could impact people who are trying to have kids?
well, that's for another conversation. I think the big thing is right now you go back to the situation and try to work it out to where it's best for everybody. I mean, that's what the whole abortion issue is about. So
This really isn't about abortion. It's about IVF and the concern that now families might not have access to it.
but it's about the same direction. But I agree. But people need to have access. People need to have. We need more kids. We need the people to have the opportunity to have kids. You know, I'd have to look at the entire bill of how it's written. I have not seen it.
Supreme Court decision.
Well, I know that, but I'd have to look. I haven't looked at it. But this is state issue.
Women aren't going to be able to have IVF treatments already in some places.
Yeah, that's
What do you say
unfortunate.
to them?
Unfortunate.
Do you have a reaction to the Alabama?
That's unfortunate. These are the repercussions of this law, you know, of the abortion bans is leading to all of these repercussions that, you know, probably was unforeseen, you know, and this is one of them right here. And all he has to say is that it's unfortunate.
Where when you've got somebody with a microphone in your face trying to get you a gotcha statement, you go as neutral as possible. And that's what he did. That's unfortunate. That's something he just kept saying. I don't know about the law.
I haven't read it. I haven't read the bill.
It's like, give me a minute before you ask me for a hardcore decision.
Yeah, and I should trust. And I should trust what your
on the
your
other
word
hand,
is.
does this not absolutely point toward what I've been arguing the whole time about the fight is going to be over the definition of when life starts.
Yes. And that's what this is about. The trying to decide on that. So, and that's what they decided in Alabama is that
You said China decided on that?
No. This is Alabama. They decided.
I thought I heard you say China decided on that.
I heard China in there too, but I figured it was just some stuff bubbling together there.
Yeah, just bubbling words. No, it's Alabama Supreme Court decided that those frozen embryos are alive and they get protection. Let's read this right quick. It says, we need to have more kids. It says Senator Tommy Tuberville, Republican Alabama, commented on the recent Alabama Supreme Court ruling classifying frozen embryos as children. The decision could mean clinics or individuals who dispose of or destroy frozen embryos could be charged with wrongful death. Some IVF providers in Alabama have already paused treatments, so they try to figure out the implications of the decision. So, you know, they could be charged with wrongful death, like, because what happened was one of them dropped the tube on the ground, and so they got sued. And that's what sent it to the Supreme Court of Alabama. And Alabama chose in favor of the person that was suing them about dropping the thing. But as a result of it, these people are trying to have kids. Like, you have people who have trouble, you know, making babies. So they use this, you know, to make kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's having the opposite effect when we're saying that, you know, we want to ban abortion so people can have babies. Then now you got people who have trouble making babies using this procedure, but they can't use it now as a result. So it's having the opposite impact that is intended, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Am I making sense? I feel like I'm kind of wrong.
No, I'm off on that. See, this has nothing to do with the abortion laws, and that's where it's getting conflated. This has to do with when is a clump of cells a life?
Yeah, but the reason why we get into that point was because of
the abortion issue is secondary to the nature of this. This is remember, this is the precedent that they need set, that both sides need set right now. Because if they set this as a precedent that yes, that's a child, Well, then an unborn fetus becomes protection under the Constitution and cannot be aborted because it is given the protection of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So until that kid comes out, it's basically like they're in jail and mama's belly is the jail. And now we start getting into the implication of human rights and forced pregnancy and stuff right now, which technically, if I'm not mistaken, being forced to give birth against your will is a violation of the Human Rights Act, and it's a violation of the Geneva Convention. Just, international law, all that stuff. Technically.
Yeah, this is getting crazy.
It's considered inhumane to force someone to either abort or give birth to a child against their will.
Well, my part in that is that, like, look, there's reasonable ways to, like, I mean, you can decide to, of course, say not have sex, but you can decide to actually do things to prevent getting pregnant before this child gets here and we have this conversation. But if you're an adult and these things, I guess, happen, if you're one of the rare cases that you are on a some kind of pill or whatever, you took some precautions and you still got pregnant, I mean, that's just a rare circumstance, and you should just play along with it and just have the kid, if the laws get changed to that point. But overall, I think that of course this is a whole lot.
So if a court finds a man guilty, he should just go ahead and go along with it, even if he's not.
Well,
there's some act was done. All things, it wasn't technically illegal, but since it ended up in an illegal manner, we're just going to send him to jail anyway. Technically, even though no law has really been broken.
I don't think that's the same thing at all.
So let me read this. It says clinics began to pause IVF treatments after the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos can be considered children under state law. So it says the Shade Room posted this. Here we go. Last week, Alabama Supreme Court decision declared that embryos are considered children, which means that those who destroy them can be held liable for wrongful death. This comes almost 2 years after the U.S. Supreme Court ended the nationwide federal right to an abortion, and this state's decision was brought by a couple who had frozen embryos destroyed by accident. Since the ruling, 3 clinics have paused IVF treatments. It says the process of in vitro fertilization offers a possible solution when a woman has trouble getting pregnant, according to AP News. Doctors are concerned that this decision could substantially restrict access to a very vital fertility treatment that has helped countless folks today expand their families. What I'm saying is this is having the opposite impact of what they really want. If the whole point of stopping people from having abortions is so we have more babies, then this procedure is about people who have trouble making babies, and they're not going to be able to use this in Alabama.
I mean, I guess that's the part that was confusing me, is because
there's
how
nothing
is it
being
that
made illegal?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well,
I didn't.
They're
see
stopping
where
the
they
treatments because of liability.
Right. They're worried about, somebody could accidentally drop a test tube and end up going to jail
And
for
become the next mass murderer.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, all that is companies saying, yeah, we're not going to take that chance.
Right.
And by the way,
You can't blame them.
do realize you're basically arguing that rich people need to be able to have more kids.
Well, I'm just saying these is the repercussions.
Convenient argument, even though you're fighting for the rich people at this moment.
You know, I mean, anybody that can, you know, it's just the repercussion. I think that people don't realize what they're doing in a lot of cases. You know, there's a reason why abortion was legal. And, you know, these kinds of things are the results of switching that without fully
But
going
my,
through the process of understanding what the
but
implications of it would be.
my whole thing is why is it why is an abortion conversation at all? Because like we're talking about something that happened at you know it's Planned Parenthood that's you know have you know helping with these you know these in vitro babies, them you know saving the eggs and things like that. How does this become an abortion issue other than the fact that you know this somebody just threw that in the conversation because this is some like liability issue, you know, that they're suggesting to maybe not do this service anymore because of the mistake that was made and because of you know the liability that comes with it. How does abortion become a part of that conversation?
Because
It's
the
because
abortion.
the argument against abortion right now is going to boil down into when a life begins.
Right.
They are defining a fertilized embryo in a test tube as a child already.
Right.
But that's the thing. I mean, who like all right? To me, that's a like. There's no part about it. Like when the light sparks, you know, when the sperm hits the egg, it has you know sparked the life. That's where it begins. You know, like
Yeah.
anybody
So, but
that's
then if
in
you
real
freeze them,
science will only fight against that because of their own social.
yeah, but it's not as simple as that. Because then once you freeze them, so that they
Okay,
can.
now you've taken that child and frozen it at super sub-zero temperatures to the point where you stopped all metabolic movement and cell activity. Technically, it's cell death, even though it can be revived. That's still killing it and reviving it.
All right, look, y'all finish y'all conversation. I'm out.
Let me read some. let me read some comments. It says, "So when I claim my frozen eggs as dependents for life, I don't want to hear anything from the IRS."
Somebody's still waiting on their check.
See,
and the question is, would that include one that we keep in our own freezer?
See, like this would be random. This would be problems. This would be stuff that they would have to work out. Of course, this is ridiculous what she's saying, but you know, this is what the door that has been opened.
Bro.
Let me read another one. It says, next thing you know, a woman have a period that disposes the egg will be illegal. See? They are starting to say that too, you know, like because you have those miscarriages that happen sometimes. They're just like spontaneous miscarriages. And then who's to say it was something that the mother did or whatever? She wasn't eating properly, or she was, you know, doing something that caused the miscarriage to happen, and then they can hold her accountable for that.
Well, look, let me ask this: is you know, should they maybe try to figure out a way that in these abortion issues that instead, you know, like in the abortion quote unquote abortion process, is to be able to take it and keep it alive, and you know store it until you find a good parent for this child, and then allow it to continue growing in somebody else's body or something.
I think that would affect this. This would affect that too, I think.
Bro, this is horrible, bro.
It's gonna get weird, man. This is the road we're going down.
So, but I mean, but this is also, you know, when we're talking about abortion, it's also the conversation of having the right to be able to kill your child. If we're gonna have the conversation, we gotta look at it from the other side too. Like, okay,
I mean, I can't say that what you're saying is not right. I can't even, you know, argue with that. I mean, because that's kind of what we're talking about. Let me read another comment. It says, I don't know what's the weird obsession with women and their reproductive organs and kids in general. Like, it's weird. Another one, it says they care more about the unborn than the living. Another one, it says the same Alabama that rejected millions of dollars in federal funding that would have kept children fed in schools. Okay, got it. And that's one of the parts of this that's really weird to me. It's like they're so
That's goes back to that thing we were talking about on the show the other night. Everyone's all, oh, they rejected money for programs. None of those programs got closed down. Nobody went hungry because that they didn't get more money to give free stuff out. I mean, and it's all that millions of dollars over each family getting a $40 card.
Because I mean, there's actually some people that's actually saying that the debt is real, and they don't want to contribute to it, and they don't want to make their uh, the citizens of their states, subject to more of this debt. So it just really kind of depends on your perspective, because some people think that, okay, the debt is not real, and that other countries are not growing past us, and other things like that because of decisions that we make here. But
I just think that what it sounds like to me is that they care about the babies until they're born. Like they're pro-life all the way up until the baby comes out of the womb, and then after that, it's like you're on your own.
But no, but you act like, I mean, because see, my thing is, all right, we're all given inalienable rights. We have to, but part of those rights is us, taking care of ourselves. This is actually a government where, this is not like a free for all, and the government is supposed to take care of you. We're supposed to take care of it, and we're supposed to make things work within it. So, like, saying that the government owes us because we pay taxes is kind of the wrong way to look at it in most cases, because after you've worked 30-40 years, and there was no way for you to build up a retirement. That's one way to look at it. It's like, look, I gave service to this country, and I can't work anymore, I need something, blah blah blah. That's one thing. But to be a young adult that has maybe put in a few dollars into taxes, and now you're having a baby, you think that the government should take care of it now? That's one of the hard things to kind of really just easily give credence to.
Yeah,
So
well, the government taking care of the baby or having free breakfast and free lunch at school is not the same thing. Having them help you a little bit, have your tax dollars help you a little bit. You're putting money in for the common good so that you could get something out of it, right?
I guess, but you're also forcing bad food on children. We're not.
No, because I played a clip. I don't know. I think I did it in another show where they were talking about the free breakfast deal and how these people were making, it was like home cooked meals. They had a chef come in and make meals for these kids, and then like the percentage of kids eating breakfast went all the way up, and the number of kids eating lunch went all the way up, and it was healthier meals. It was actual meals, actual food, not that preheated or hot held stuff.
No. I don't look at it, bro. We got vegetables right now that's getting sprayed with some stuff that a preservative, I guess you would say, that one of the billionaires came up with, got a patent on, and they're spraying it on everything so that, I guess, food that would normally rot, I guess, naturally, doesn't have a chance to do so, which kind of creates chemicals in the body that does not allow reproduction over time. So if you're starting a kid off eating those things, that's where I'm saying the unhealthy foods, because I mean, it could be an apple, it could be something that's supposed to be just one of the purest foods that we've had for millennia, and now it's not what they say it is, because they're taking seeds out of every fruit. Like what the I don't know how do people even consider this even like possibly healthy?
Let's move on. Check this out. Noam Chomsky says that's the standard technique of privatization. Defund, make sure things don't work, get people angry, you hand it over to private capital. So, and this is one of the arguments that I've been making about what they're doing with the public schools. And earlier we mentioned the voucher program here in Texas that the Republicans are pushing for. And that is this. That is, you know, you make something not work or appear to not work and say that the government can't do it. So then it needs to be done by private people so they can make private money off of it. You know what I mean? It's all just like it's a scam. It's basically a scam, you know.
It's really not a scam, bro, because guess what? You teaching your kid at school is private schooling.
We're talking about the money. We're talking about where the money goes and where it comes from, you know.
It costs money to run a school at home. Like if you're teaching your kid at home, it's like you still have costs. Like like the books, the paper, even the computer. If you're doing everything on a computer, like everything costs.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean,
if you're saying that we're a free country, but we shouldn't allow options for people to be able to school their children the way they want. I don't think that's really like. I don't think that holds up to.
It's not talking about taking options. It's about siphoning money from the system that is supposed to be teaching all the kids and sending that money into a private entity so that they can make money off of it. It's
because the private entity can be themselves. It doesn't have to be, you get to choose where it's gonna go. Like, isn't that like one of the main thing God gave us as choice? And I think this is what saying that we gotta send the money to some school that other people say, that's like opposite of choice. Like you don't have a choice anymore.
The whole reason to come up with public schools is so that everyone has the opportunity to get an education.
That's not true. The whole idea.
That was why they came up with them.
No, the whole idea for it was so that they can control your children and make them believe how they want them to believe. Like indoctrination camps is what they really are.
That's what it became.
No, that's the intent. That was the intent.
It's like we want to have an educated public. If parents can just be like, I want to teach my kids from some magazines, some I don't know, some random research materials. I can't even think of nothing right now because my brain just went blank. But parents can just choose to teach them basically nothing, and then they're gonna grow up and not know things. So it's a public good.
That's what's happening right now. What are you talking about? Like there's just kids that's going to school, going K through 12 and even K through whatever college, graduating college that don't know shit.
Yeah, but
they've been trained in certain areas to do certain things the way that they want. They're not actually know how to learn something on their own. They've been told when this happens, do this, and then when that happens after that, like this is like totally training. This is not teaching.
What I'm talking about is what you be saying all the time about falling for the banana in the tailpipe is what's happening, because Noam Chomsky right here, he's saying, it says the standard technique of privatization, defund, make sure things don't work, people get angry, you hand it over to private capital. So that's what they've been doing with the schools. They make them not work. It's part of the plan, so that they can funnel money into private hands. Coming from the government. So it's socializing.
But the thing
subsidizing these
is,
companies.
what like I mean, of course, we all know that part of our biggest problem, especially here in America, maybe worldwide, is that we don't work together. So I mean, if we have the option as parents, let's just say me, you, and Doc actually, have children that's in the same age range, and we can hire a teacher that can teach them. We have funds that we get directly back from our tax dollars that we can use to pay this teacher. Like, why wouldn't we not do something like that? Because we can actually have control over what they're going to teach. We can create, make sure that there's certain things that we can leave out that we don't want, because let's just hypothetically, we believe in the same ideology. So like communities like the Jewish community, they can do this easily because they've already set up things that is more designed for what they want their children to learn. We have given too much power away to easily get these type of things under control, but we could do it. I mean, we complain now about, like we're going to get money that we can use for our children to learn, but we haven't made any step to maybe creating a type of school that would be beneficial for our community and what we want them to understand and learn. I think that's the main difference there, because I mean, outside of the Jewish people, there's other communities that's already doing that and controlling how the things that their kids are learning.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There's already plenty of schools like that out there, and you pay tuition to have your kid in there if that's what you want to do. And that option has been there for the longest. But we're talking about the level playing field of all the kids being able to go to school and taking that away from them. So if parents don't have money to put their kids into a private school, then they're just screwed. They're left behind.
Let me ask you this, because would you consider this to be fair that all right, parents who decide to send their kids to private school, that their taxes are dropped because they don't have kids in school, and that money that they spend don't have to go into those public schools that their kids don't go to?
I've heard those arguments before, but that doesn't work, because what about all the people who don't have kids at all? And they're paying their property taxes, they're paying their school taxes, and they've never had children, don't plan on having children. So then we opt those people out of the system too.
Yeah,
where does it?
I think so.
So then where would the funding come from for these schools? That's not how taxes work. That's not how like public good works.
When you become self-governing, you grow a set, and you put things together so that your children can learn in your community. Because I mean and that's for the parents. They parent, those people have a certain thing that they want to happen. If those people outside that don't have children or whatever want to, add something to it, donate and things like that, great. But I mean, I'm just at the point
all
where
benefit from an educated public, whether we have children or not. We don't want people around us that don't know stuff. Like, it's really simple.
No, that's not true. I mean, it's a bunch of y'all got people around y'all that don't know nothing and swear they do.
Oh, dude, we work in food service. Nobody around us knows anything. they either have a degree or 2 or 3, or they know nothing about anything.
Exactly.
Straight from another country and didn't get education over there at all either, and it's just like really just being exploited. Let me read some comments.
You against the immigrants now?
And with the immigrant conversation, the people talking about the immigrants and where they're going and what they're doing, they're all working in your freaking restaurants. They're babysitting your kids. They're cutting your grass. You know what I mean?
I'm going to say
that's
flat
what
out,
they're doing.
the lowest person in the kitchen, the newest hires, the ones that don't really do anything except maybe clean stuff up, they get $14.85 an hour in my kitchen.
Hey,
I mean, you
more
know,
power to 'em.
so and they hire the people like that because they can't get Americans to do the job. They won't work. They won't do the work.
Is
Yeah.
$14.85 an hour a good place to be?
Here in
Hourly?
Houston, that's decent money.
Yeah.
You need about $9 to make it, about $12 to be doing okay, and about $15 an hour to actually, you know, be able to thrive.
I'm so far beyond that, bro. I'm just not, and I'm not saying like, like I cannot even imagine trying to live off of that anymore. Like I just really can't.
But it's
I'm
like
sorry.
our system is set up to, to exploit these people. Like they want to act like they don't want immigrants over here, but then on the other hand, they want people that's going to do jobs that the regular citizens aren't going to do, especially for the pay that they're willing to pay for it. So it's schizophrenic. It's hypocrisy. It's bullshit.
It's America.
There's a huge difference between immigration coming over for labor and coming over for stuff like that, and caravans of thousands of people heading toward the border, of 5,000 to 10,000 people crossing daily. 23 million in the last few years. It is a 1% impact on our demographic, and it took less than 1% of our demographic of America to start this whole trans insanity. Less than 1% of a percent to start all the trans insanity. So imagine that. What do you think 1% of our total population is going to do? Or we'll just call it 0.75 right now, because I guarantee you the numbers are higher than they say they are. But I can also find numbers that show at about half of what they say it is.
Let me read some more comments related to the Noam Chomsky quote here. This one, it says, education, post office, policing, prison system, healthcare, judicial system, Congress, and trying for the presidency. They've been playing the long game. Another one, it says, that's what they're trying to do to education. That's what I was saying. Another one, it says, it's a simple, tried and true technique requiring nothing but utter contempt and pure greed. Works every time. Let's see. Another one, it says, also the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation, this man. Let's see. It says, happening in Ontario now, the dealers promise to save taxes. Another one, it says, it works so well.
What
with mental
dealers?
health.
Drug dealers?
I don't know what they meant by that. It says, it works so well with mental health care. Ask Reagan why it failed. It's another one. It says, like Bush tried to do with Social Security. They're coming for all those social programs. That's what we got coming around the corner.
Yeah, because those were scams to begin with, though.
They just don't want no kind of safety net, social safety net for people. Let me see. Check this one. It says, let's play this.
Caged for over 2 weeks without access to any hygiene and then deported. One of them shared with us yesterday that when he finally was chained and deported, when he arrived in Haiti, they gave him a piece of bread. And when he tasted the bread, it tasted sour. It wasn't until later he realized that the taste that was in his mouth did come from the bread, but from the fact that he was held without access to brushing his teeth for so long. So that's why we continue to fight, and we want to make sure we hold the administration accountable. We hold the system accountable for the inhuman treatment of people seeking protection and safety. And Murad and the 11 other plaintiffs are representation of the 15,000 Haitians and other people who were under the bridge in the inhumane injustice and mistreatment that they received, in the abuse and the violence of deportation and expulsion. They were.
So it says a lawsuit accuses the Biden administration of racial discrimination and rights violation of Haitian asylum seekers. The suit was brought on behalf of 11 Haitian asylum seekers who were abused by the U.S. border agents, as more than 15,000 people, mostly from Haiti, were forced to stay in makeshift border encampment on the banks of the Rio Grande near the Acuna del Rio International Bridge in Texas. The plaintiffs include Murad Joseph, the asylum seeker whose image went viral after being photographed while a Border Patrol agent on horseback lashed him with split reins, grabbed his neck, and gripped Joseph by the shirt collar. Immigrant advocacy organization Haitian Bridge Alliance helped bring the case on behalf of asylum seekers. Go ahead.
Even the photographer of that picture came out and said the angle looked bad, but no one was whipped in that photo.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're using that video or whatever that picture as a example, but I mean, it's more likely that the people from Haiti were actually looking for asylum, and it was, not sure who caused it, but either way, them seeking asylum was true. And I think that even then it was unfair for them to allow others to come in freely and then turn them around. So I would say it is definitely discrimination, regardless of, because I think that they were trying, at least possibly they were trying to come there legally. They had the borders wide open, and they was advertising, pretty much like nothing's gonna happen to you with the laws that was made, the way that they changed the law. So that was one of the things that advertised the fact that you were able to come, but then when you get here, you get turned around and sent back or whatever, because what most people believe, not just me, not just black people, but people in general really feel like that was a racist move. So they probably do have a case. Will they win it? Yeah, that's a tough one.
Oh, this is Uncle Sugar. This is Biden. He's gonna pay them.
Maybe.
They've paid out. They've been paying out all along.
Well, one thing that you got to remember is, like, the Democrats of all people, they hold a grudge against Haitians since the revolution. Like, it don't matter, that was their great grandparents.
Well, see, right now they can sweep the country of origin under because they're the right color. They've already been a poster child for the left already. Doesn't matter where they came from. They check all the boxes. They're gonna get $500,000 each, a ride somewhere in the country of undisclosed location, and probably housing for the first 2 years.
Well, look, I guess anything is possible, but I guarantee you it's going to be...
Precedent's already set.
No, because you're saying it doesn't matter where they come from. It always matters where they come from.
Oh, for the moment, it's not because, like I said, they're the right color. Now, if they're hooked up with some of the government stuff going on, no, but they wouldn't have tried to come here for asylum if they were part of that anyway.
Well, look at this comment right here. It says the Ukrainian asylum seekers probably didn't have to experience these horrors.
No, they stood there with suitcases and had do we not did we forget how all that stuff was going on?
It was happening at the same time.
The exact same time.
Another comment says, how are we, the USA, supposed to feed and house and clothe and job hundreds of thousands of people coming here without any planning on their part. People here stating they're ashamed of our government need to man up and take in some of these people themselves then.
See, that's somebody who really does not understand what's been happening here. Because I mean, most of these people would not be inspired to just jump up and come here unless they know that they have a clear, option to come, and they were led. Like most of these people were led to believe that everything was going to be good. This is going to be fine. They're gonna, they're gonna have a new life. Like they're gonna take this dangerous journey across the jungle to get here, because they're like, what I'm dealing with here is way worse than anything. I got to get out of here. And we know what was going on in Haiti, a year ago, 2 years ago, and still continuing. So I think that's why, we have to look at this with a different set of eyes. You know what I'm saying? Than just like all immigrants are not the same. And that's why I say where they come from makes a big difference, because we know people who are at war with us, and letting them come in compared to somebody who, just.
When I was saying it didn't matter where they would come from, I was talking about that particular 11 people. That was not a statement as to all of them. That was about those 11 people that we were talking about in the subject.
Okay.
It doesn't matter that those 11 guys came from Haiti. It doesn't matter where they came from. They're the right color. They've been on the media before. It will be easier to pay them off and let them go away than it will be to make a big deal about them.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
I get your point, and that's that's how they sweep stuff under the rug, anyways. Because people are going to be happy with the suit. They're going to be like, "Oh, they found justice. They got paid or whatever." But then they're still going to stop any Haitians from coming in. They're probably not going to let those people come in. They'll give them a check or whatever. Hopefully, they can spend it over there in Haiti.
Yeah, how about sending them to Liberia? We can send them to Liberia, can't we?
Yeah,
we can
random
put,
places.
We can put
Anywhere
them
but
somewhere.
here.
And that's the thing. Like they could offer them. Like I mean, there's many things that they're considering. I guarantee you.
Let me read this one.
There's a whole bunch of empty apartments. There's going to be a whole bunch of empty apartments in Ukraine and Palestine here in about 3 or 4 more years' time.
Well, Palestine is destroyed.
Talking about, it's empty
Ukraine
now.
is too, pretty much. Let me read this one. It says, "Let me count the ways I despise this administration and the facts that people are clinging to them as the lesser of two evils." And I really have a problem with that. And that's the reason why I can't vote for them. Like, I mean, the lesser of two evils is evil. You know what I mean? Like, that can't be my motivation to vote for somebody. Like, I'm sorry. I just can't let that be.
See, the problem is both sides have what I call deal breakers. I can't vote for you because you support this. It's just now I'm starting to go by, well, which one has less deal breakers than the other?
Because they like all of them. I think most, like pretty much everybody has the deal breakers, but the ones who we don't really know the deal breakers that we will have against them don't even have an opportunity.
For me, a deal breaker is a deal breaker. The deal is broken.
I am as against men in women's sports and collegiate level and high school level as I am against, pre-evacuation of babies. I mean, they're both to me something I fundamentally don't like. But to be fair,
is that the new word? Is that the new term, evacuation?
I don't know. I couldn't remember what it's called this week.
Are you coining that?
Not at the moment. I guess that would be pre-eviction, prenatal eviction.
Let's play. Let's play
Okay.
this.
You okay, you did that. You did
It's
that.
like, get out. Hey, I got 30 days, don't I? No, you only got 14 now.
Let's play this. Check this out.
One, as the former ranking member of the Civil Rights Subcommittee under Chairman Raskin last session, I take great pride as a white female Republican to address the inadequacies in our country. I come from a district where rich and poor is literally black and white, black versus white on most days. It was a very beautiful speech by the gentlelady who, as she mentioned, was helped lead on the now majority side, the Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Subcommittee. But I think it's so exemplary of the point that she also oversaw the elimination of the Civil Rights Subcommittee on this committee, which really kind of gives the whole game away. We show up, we give speeches, we give flowery words, but at the end of the day, participate in the structural erosion of the rights and representation of people that are marginalized, women, people of color, people that just need to see their due process and civil liberties protected in this country. But I will move on. I want to say, number one, as the former ranking member of the Civil Rights Subcommittee under Chairman Raskin last session, I take great pride as a white female Republican to address the inadequacies in our country. I come from a district where rich and poor is literally black and white, black versus white on most days. It was a very beautiful speech.
Excuse me. I'm over here eating.
Hey, man, there's a reason that I've seen that black people don't go and you see this. They're saying rich and poor, black versus white. No, there's a reason that rich black people don't see them a lot, because you got two types. You got one, the type that gets the chains and the cars and all that stuff and say, "Fuck those motherfuckers, never helped me, so why should I help them?" And then the other one's going, "I don't want them motherfuckers to know I'm rich."
So it says Representative May said that she takes great pride in her work on the Civil Rights Subcommittee. Representative AOC reminded her that she led the elimination of that subcommittee. So yeah, I don't know, man. These politicians, the way they talk, and they like to do these sound bites. It sounds really good or whatever, but you got to look at how they vote. You know what I mean? What stuff they really uphold and what stuff they block or whatever. Those fancy pretty words don't mean anything when they
Well, see, and that's I totally agree with that, and I think that the average voter doesn't really see from that angle, and they don't realize that some of the people that they support and try to are the ones that's really against some of the things that they would be for. But at the same time, we have to also ask that big question, why? Because sometimes these things are not given the full effort that it should, and they vote against it so that they can recreate it or find something that will replace it. But in this case, when you hear this Republican talking about, hey, how this thing, this approach of rich and poor is really becoming a question of black and white, sounds like her heart might be in a better place than some of the people that we trust and believe are
Yeah, well, her heart can be in the right place, but then she goes and eliminates that subcommittee that's doing that particular work. So I don't know that her heart is actually in the right place. I think that she just wants to appear that her heart's in the right place.
Well, that's an opinion, and that's until you can get to the core, the true answer to why you just gonna be there with with the same thing everybody else has, an opinion.
Yeah, but look, this thing is saying, it says Representative May said that she takes a great pride in her work on the Civil Rights Subcommittee, and Representative AOC reminded her that she led the elimination of that subcommittee. So, like, I got great pride in the work I did on that subcommittee, and then I tried to get rid of that subcommittee.
We did good work, and now it's done.
So civil rights is over. Like everything
No,
is
but
good
the
now.
need,
Let's
but the
kumbaya.
need, but the need for the distraction of that subcommittee might be the problem that subcommittee was created for specifically might have been handled. It could have been set up as a deadlock. They could have been blocked because of no particular. I mean, here you are again, and this is something that's starting to get on my nerves. Is you just lashing out with the usual left attack,
With
and you're not
opinions.
asking why was this. If you want to trounce the woman, find out why the subcommittee was closed. If there's dumb reasons for that, then by all means. Now all you're doing is just supporting AOC, smacking, trashing somebody, just saying random words about it, trying to get her little gotcha moment and soundbite in, which she obviously successfully did, got you fired up. But again, we're seeing this triple clipped out of context with a message behind it that someone wants us to get.
Do you? I don't think the average person, maybe even some right here on the phone on the TV or this show with us, realize one of the main reasons why a bill gets voted against that's supposed to be a good bill. And of course, a good bill is going to be depending on, who wrote it, what party is pushing it, and the agenda's hidden behind it. So sometimes, because it was a civil rights bill, just because you use the
And then the
terminology,
attached writers as well.
well, yeah, all of that. So it's like, okay, just because it's a civil rights bill and it's played up to be a good thing, doesn't mean that it really was. So I mean, we can't keep going. If you're not gonna read the bill and go and verify it and say, hey, and that it still could be based on your opinion because you might be far leaning with those people at the time. That still could be an opinion. It might not be good for those people that they're voting to use this bill on. So I think we gotta use more care with that before we try to talk about, oh, this person was bad because they voted against a civil rights bill. The bill may have had, you got to, give up your children at certain age to be prostitutes. I mean, ask more questions first.
Check this out.
Change about the Constitution.
They want to radically transform it. The leader of this effort, a man named Mark Meckler, formerly head of Tea Party Patriots, now head of the Convention of States efforts, has said that they seek to roll back 115 years of progressivism. Now, that sounds like big talk for a guy in a bar or something, but the fact of the matter is they have been steadily doing this. Our side has not been paying adequate attention. And if the Republicans manage to get hold of Congress, and Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House, he's a deep supporter. He unites both those wings of the Republican Party, the fossil fuel billionaires with the theocrats. And he will, I believe, and so does Common Cause and others who study this, convene such a convention. So this is something that would take away, has the potential in the various amendments they've proposed to undermine the fiscal basis of Social Security and Medicare, to undermine long established civil rights protections, to take away our capacity to protect the environment. So it could not be more serious. And it's something that needs much more attention from all of us.
What do they want to change about the Constitution?
They want to radically transform it. The leader of this effort, a man named Mark Meckler, formerly head of Tea Party Patriots, now head.
So, and I think that this is the direction that we're going in, and they're winning when it comes to this stuff. What she's saying is they want to undo 150 years of progressivism, Voting Rights Act, civil rights. I mean, you name it. They're coming forward. Medicare, Social Security, food stamps, SNAP benefits, all of these programs that have come out, they are trying to undo all of that stuff.
Stuff that they never could afford. What you talking about? I mean, they wasn't responsible with the monies that they did get in there. And I think that's one of the biggest problems of them all, because there's no reason for any of those programs to fail when they're being, funded by the people. But because those things have been mishandled, the wrong all these corporations have, are prospering, and you could easily invest in those companies and reproduce things for the people. But because that was not the intention, that's not what, of course, they always tell you this is what it's for. This is for you. This is a great thing. Blah, 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 blah. Give us your money. But then it turns out to what it is now. So
I think that goes back to the Noam Chomsky quote we just played earlier, where it's like, they make it not work so that they can.
Yes, and some people say, hey, it's a failure. Let's change this. Let's look. I mean, maybe even to some extent you have to totally get rid of it, because at this time trying to make legislation in it only worsens it. I mean,
people, older folks rely on Social Security to survive.
Social Security flat out is not welfare. It is an investment that people have paid for their entire life. And if they decide to not give me that money back, I believe we should start a class action lawsuit and sue the government for every penny of it.
Yeah, I think that is definitely an approach. That's one way to kind of
that has been my investment fund.
Yeah, I mean that's.
And I lost all my private money. All my private investments were gone in COVID. Another creation of the government.
So,
or at least of a government.
Well, and then not to say, I mean, because I think a lot of people forget that George Bush II actually was stealing money from art. I say steal because we didn't necessarily have an option, but they definitely was taking money from Social Security to fund the war in Iraq.
Dude, the Republicans took $35 million, Kenneth Starr, just to prove that Clinton got a little yum in the office.
Yeah, that's a bunch of ridiculous things. I mean, we can go into more.
Pelosi used 67 million or something like that to go against Trump 9 months before he actually did the thing that he got slapped over.
Well, no, I mean, we go back to the Russia collusion. The Russian collusion that they now know that Hillary Clinton was a part of and not Trump. So they purposely was spending the Democratic Party, all of them together, Pelosi and the rest of them, voted that they was not going to give in, and they kept spending like it's really just money to steal from us. And that's like,
no, that's absolutely what it is. Stealing money, appropriating money from Social Security is the definition of stealing directly from the American people.
Yeah, most definitely.
And the sad thing is, after this big boom of babies starts dying off, where we've been having less babies and stuff like that, Social Security would have completely righted itself again had they left the original investments in it, which is why the compound interest has not taken it up and over that hill. It's because the money's not been there to keep compounding the interest.
Well, no, I mean, the first of all, the investments were totally bad. Like, I mean, we have individuals that's trillionaires right now. So how is it that these people, if you can follow the money and do the right thing, they already look at what Pelosi's husband makes money, because they know where they're they're going to.
I'm specifically and only talking about Social Security and
Well,
how it is
I'm
not
talking-
it is not handled by a government agency at all. It is the
Well-
largest government private contract that we have.
I understand, but the whole thing, what I'm saying is, I'm talking about Social Security as well, but I'm speaking from the point that it not multiplying the way it should. It's only been like the diminishing and decreasing, and it's not because of the baby boomers. It's because they mishandled the funds. They
Well, they
used
keep
it for
dipping
things
in
they
it.
wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, because they were removing capital. By removing the capital, it's not gaining interest, so it's that compound interest is not doing what it should.
Exactly.
They keep dipping in it like they're the piggy bank.
Yeah, like it's their own private money.
It's like their kids got a damn change jar and they need a pack of fucking smokes and a 6-pack.
But see, but that's that part is what I'm saying. Like, I mean, we all can make changes that will allow us to grow this country more ourselves if we stop letting those people handle our money. And that's like my biggest thing. I'm like, look, these people, they obviously don't know what they're doing. Like, your boy been in office, been in some form of office for 50 years, and
No.
he's just now getting to, because they say he was the brokest one in
Yeah,
whatchamacallit.
but the point I'm making is that they make things not work on purpose so that they can say it's not working, so then we need to take it away. Social Security is a
That's
good
clear.
idea.
But
It's-
no,
it-
that's clear. I hear what you're saying, but if us as a people, we can do some other thing. We can make it social investment property or social. We can do something different. But this whole thing that we allowed them to control and have say over, we have a different setup where people who can be imprisoned for doing the wrong thing with these funds, because we're not holding these people accountable for their misaction.
Well, I'm all the way on board with that.
Yeah.
Let me play
No,
this.
the funds are
Treatment.
actually held pretty well. I mean, they're not making like super great interest, but they've been making what is considered a market steady interest rate the whole time. The company handling the money does very well with it. It's just government keeps taking money out of the bank account
All right.
to use on shit. If they would leave it the fuck alone, it wouldn't be in danger like it is now of running out.
But that's why I say mismanaging it, because like you know
Well,
you're gonna take from
you can't blame the company managing it. That's Congress. The idea was there was supposed to be a wall, a protection wall in there. Congress was not supposed to be able to access those funds at all.
I hear you. Are we saying that it's not being mismanaged? No,
No.
because I mean, I'm not saying the management company. We're talking about
No.
the people who threw this up as like the same
No,
entity.
we have someone with the debit card to the account that's an unauthorized user is what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
We agree on that.
I like that analogy. That sounds better than what either of us were trying to say.
Let me play this.
Treatment, and I'm not going to ask again, just this last time, criminalizing it.
Well,
Would it be constitutional? I think there's a clear answer.
but Senator, I've repeatedly said, as has every other nominee who sat in this seat, that we can't answer questions in the abstract. That would have to be decided in the course of the judicial process. With a case, some legislature would actually have to do that, and then litigants would have to come to court. There would have to be briefs and arguments and consultation with colleagues and opinion writing and consideration of precedent. So an off-the-cuff reaction to that would just circumvent the judicial process.
Well, again, I'm disappointed. I think Tracy would find that response somewhat chilling because she and thousands, maybe millions of women, potential parents, would be horrified to think that IVF treatment could be made criminal. IVF treatment, and I'm not going to ask again, just this last time, criminalizing it.
Well,
would it be?
So it says Trump appointed Supreme Court justice refuses to rule out imprisoning women for receiving IVF, making it a criminal offense to use that.
IVF is the shot.
No, what we were talking about earlier.
In vitro fertilization, basically test tube babies.
Yeah.
Fertilizing the egg outside of man and woman in a lab and then putting it back into her to carry. It can eat, most of the time it involves hers and his, or in the case of someone unable to be reproductive, a donor will be used, either egg or sperm, and it gets put into simply put, it gets put into a petri dish, it fertilizes, and then they put it in her, it becomes a baby.
I got you. And I kind of, I've heard the process somewhat before. I was just, I hadn't used the term, the IV, like,
yeah.
I'm not from the generation of all of these.
Yeah, in vitro fertilization is the is what that's a short for.
Yeah.
Or test tube baby.
Yeah, man, that's a tough one. But I mean, like, why are they forcing her to try to make that answer? And she's given a clear. I mean, at least to me, she's like the reason why she's not gonna try to do that. And I guess the question is based on her opinion or what she believes, but it's still a setup. So I mean, we know how they answer questions down there, because when it really boils down to it, it's not supposed to be based on your opinion. And when they try to force you to answer something based on your opinion, that's just aha. See, so you will try to do this or do that, and instead of letting justice be, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
that's one of those.
I just think it's crazy that we're at this moment where we're thinking about imprisoning women for receiving an IVF. Why is that even a freaking?
I was going to say, I was going to ask Pat if you're okay with test tube babies.
No, I don't care.
I'm the same way on that. I mean, if that's what you can do, if that's what you can afford,
I mean, I'll answer.
More power to you. If that's the lifestyle you want to live.
Yeah, I look. I'm gonna tell you, like, if it came down to it, if I really needed to do something like that, maybe I would. I mean, I'm not really totally. I mean, I'm for science, and but trying to convict somebody, like, I think some things are really ridiculous. So
well, see, the move here is to force people that want to have babies that can't to adopt these babies that are going to be born that can't get aborted.
Well, I didn't think of it like that.
So ultimately, if you really think about it, this is almost kind of a really twisted human trafficking kind of ring.
Damn. So, here's a comment. It says, women that received or receiving IVF voted for Trump and was in support of overturning Roe versus Wade. They literally voted against their own interests because their loyalty to a party or person. So basically, the ones who voted for this deal with it, you got what you wanted.
Wow. That's a bit harsh.
Real deal. Hughley posted this. He says, "When life
someone that
imitates
doesn't
art."
understand the three branches of government, right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Deal Hughley, his caption. He says, "When life imitates art, Handmaid's Tale." It says, during her questioning from the Senate, Trump appointed Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett refused to rule out imprisoning women for receiving IVF. This is especially relevant today after the horrific ruling made in Alabama, which stems from the ending of Roe versus Wade. Yeah,
I don't think he's actually read The Handmaid's Tale.
I don't think he's read anything. He probably heard that from somebody else and tried to reuse it.
Let's
But that's my
do
opinion.
let's do this one.
Autistic, and I don't want him out here. I'm just tired of going through garbage and looking for kids and boo. And they are trying to push us all out. I do know that. I don't want to leave. I love Manteca. I want to be here. It feels like, get them out. We don't want to look at this. And it's getting tiring. I feel like I'm harassed.
It says Manteca has made it illegal to sleep outside, but
you
there's
don't know
no
if they're gonna come
shelter.
up and kick you out, get up, and when it rains, you gotta move around. Mentally, it gets you. My husband had a few seizures, and I'm really scared. I'm scared a lot because I'm getting older and I gotta take care of him. We're still human beings. We're human, and it's sad.
So it says all across the U.S., towns like Manteca are passing barbaric anti-homeless laws. It says Manteca has made it illegal to get recyclables out of the trash. Another one. What was the other one? It said, hold on, let me wait for it to pop back up. It says Manteca has made it illegal to sleep outside. It says, but there is no shelter for most to go to. So it says city governments are criminalizing survival. U.S. cities with a high number of people without housing keep passing new laws to push unhoused people out of view. Camping is often banned, as well as sleeping in public and living in vehicles. People are routinely evicted from encampments, many losing their belongings. Yeah, so there's a push to further criminalize homelessness. It's criminalizing being poor. Another comment, it says, if the government is passing homeless laws, then that should also come with the responsibility of ensuring their homeless are housed. It says, they say the real way to assess the greatness of a nation is by how it treats its most vulnerable people. What does that say about us? Another comment, it says, it's illegal to be poor. How about we help people get housing and job opportunities instead? It says, our country is sick. Capitalism is the cause.
Want those two people, they don't want housing. They don't want job opportunities. They want a shelter on nights when it's bad, and other than that, they just want to camp wherever they want. They don't want to leave that place. Doesn't matter if they're not wanted. Doesn't matter if there's no help for them there. They're going to stay there. They're getting sick. They're getting older, which means they're going to start being taken to the emergency room time and time again.
Yep, and who flips the bill for that?
I mean, this is one where there is, deplorable as it sounds, are definitely two sides to this situation. And there are some places that, it's like if you choose to be homeless, if you choose to not have anywhere to live, don't do it here. There's plenty of other places you can get up and go. Go to a city, go to a place, go to a larger town, go somewhere that's got resources for that. We don't.
It says they won't fix.
Where are the churches in this? You can't tell me some little town in the middle of nowhere doesn't have at least 3.
They probably got way more than that.
I mean, there's more to this than just what we were. how they made us want to feel sad.
It says they won't fix the root cause and they criminalize the symptoms.
That's what I'm saying. If they weren't choosing to be there, I would have far more sympathy and fight for them.
Well, you can make the argument of, it's supposed to be a free country, right? If free to live how you want to live, right?
Okay, so by saying that, they're choosing to live in a place that does not want them around. A community that has come together and by vote decided we want these laws passed so people don't take advantage of our town, so we don't have to worry about the extra cost that they're going to incur. I mean, what about the rights of the people who live there to not have to worry about incidents? I'm sorry, I'm very, very on both sides of this argument because of, like I said, she says, I don't want to go. They don't want me. They won't give me shelter. They make us move around. They won't let us camp, but I don't want to leave.
Mm.
You've chosen to be where you are. So at this point, should you, instead of complaining about this, that, and the other, finding a way to gather resources to become part of the community instead of a boat anchor to the community?
Yeah. I just feel like it should be programs available for people.
What if it's only a town of about 1,000 people or something like that? What if it's, it looked like a pretty small town.
Yeah.
I mean, again, here's where I go back to, where are the churches in this? Because I have never seen a town of smaller, towns with like 200 people in it will still have 3 churches.
Yeah. Yep. And they should be looking out for the.
I mean, churches outside of cities are like Starbucks in cities. They're everywhere.
Yeah. It's like liquor stores. Let me read this right quick. It says, still no word from Mike and Karen Pence, who have 3 children they love conceived by IVF, about the Alabama Supreme Court decision, which would basically ban the process. So Mike Pence has 3 kids that they got from IVF, which the way things are going, they wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, of course they would. They just go down to Mexico. Well, we went on this wonderful Mexico vacation, had too many tacos one night, drank some tequila, and woke up. Oh, look, a miracle baby.
Yeah.
It was because we touched the Santa Cristo de Redeemer.
I'm not gonna stay on here much longer because I'm getting tired. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm gonna do a couple more before we get out of here. Let's see. Check this one out.
The end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it and replace it with this right here, because all glory is not to government, all glory to God.
This was the lament of folks like me who saw what Trump was going to do to the Republican Party. He was not only going to convince conservatives to jettison the conservatism, but maybe even Christians to jettison the family values, the morality, the Christianity. They're just sort of singing to the cheap seats and using Christian word salads to key into the base, but they don't actually have to perform. They don't actually have to be good people. They don't have to have good policies. They don't even have to govern or win in this case. So it's a total upheaval of what has been conservative orthodoxy and what has mattered to the Republican Party for a long time.
Welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it and replace it with this right here, because all glory is not to government, all glory to God.
This was the lament of folks like me.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that was clipped a lot, and I would that this clip has been floating around the internet for a while, so that's why I wanted to share it, but the way that was clipped, I would want to hear the context on that, because he could have been, he could have been, what's a good word for that? He could have been like using sarcasm or whatever, it could have been, it still sounds really bad,
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, he could have been joking. That's what another thing I was going to say.
I hope to God no one takes him seriously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are people that heard the same speech that you and I did that said 45 told them that they could drink bleach and get rid of the vid.
Yeah.
So now after that, and don't forget all the people talking about how when 45 said coyotes were moving people all across the border, how many people were like putting memes of pictures of babies on actual coyote pictures going, this guy doesn't know anything he's talking about.
Yeah, I hate the internet sometimes. Let me read this. It says far-right conspiracy theorist Jack Posobiec told a crowd gathered at the Conservative Political Action Conference that his goal is to overthrow democracy and replace it with Christian-based ideology, gesturing to a crucifix necklace in his hand. CNN's S.C. Coop shares how this signals a total upheaval of conservative orthodoxy. Yeah, I don't know, man. The evangelicals' power has grown a lot in the conservative political sphere, I would say. And when we're trying to talk about separation of church and state, and then on one hand we're trying to put the Ten Commandments in the classrooms or in the courtrooms and stuff like that, it's crazy times that we're heading into now. People always want to jump on religion, and it's like, and religion is always like an excuse to do terrible things, I would say. I don't like that. I don't like it when people start mixing politics with religion. Let's keep those separate.
The whole idea, and this is, I've actually written a sermon about this. My favorite of the 10 Commandments that people don't understand is thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. They're not talking about stubbing your toe and saying, God damn it, stuff like that. They're talking about using God's name to publish and produce an earthly agenda. Because if it is an earthly agenda that they are pushing, something that the people should do and stuff like that, then that commandment is not coming from God.
Mm-hmm.
You are using God's name in vain to promote your personal beliefs and agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is your belief in God and the Bible. That is taking God's name in vain. Taking God's name in vain is saying, send your money to the Lord. Here's my address.
Yeah.
That's a church that doesn't at the end of the year have no money in its bank account and has to start from scratch again because they made sure every penny that was not needed for upkeep that year went to good works. And I'm not talking about the Jag on the 3-story, 8-bedroom mansion on the south side of the new church, that holds 1,500 100 people and can broadcast to 17 different countries, you know, that you guys paid for with your tithes. Thank you. We can get the word of the Lord out to more people. We can reach so many more bank accounts this way. Thank you.
Let me read this comment. It says, "Isn't our democracy founded on the principles of separation between church and state? I agree there is nothing Christian about their current platform, espousing control, divisiveness, and hate. But why is this extreme religious dogma even tolerated in 2024? Keep your church out of our politics. It is un-American." I agree with that last line a lot. Keep your church out of our politics. It is un-American. But they have this stuff where they're talking about like Christian nationalism or whatever, you know, and they really feel like they're doing the right thing, you know, and they feel like that's the right direction for the country or whatever. But again, the whole experiment of the United States was about, you know, separation of church and state and allowing people to worship, you know, the way they please, you know, and without being persecuted for the way that they worship or forcing people to worship in a certain way or whatever, you know. And I don't know, it seems like we're getting away from that. And then you have so many people saying that, you know, United States is a Christian nation. And it's like, where did that come from? Where are they getting that from? How did they come to that conclusion?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Cool deal.
Yeah. We were talking about
half of them
Right.
believe that most of the founding fathers were Christians, you know. Most of them were technically kicked out of the church. I mean, because they weren't Catholics, they weren't King James's boys. They wanted to get away from the whole people standing on a pulpit with a whole bunch of gold wrapped around them going, this is what the book says. You will listen. You will do as you're told because I was told, because I'm the only one here that can read.
Right. And that's what they were trying to get away from. And it seems like we're going back to that.
And they were all actually men of God, not necessarily modern Christianity.
But they had different ways of worship.
They all believe that there was a God, there's a higher power out there. And they all agreed that how you reach that is your own specific journey. And there's two things that they said are the main thing that our whole bit is based on. No God and no man will control all the people again.
Mm-hmm.
We will give reverence to no God. We will give no reverence to any king.
Yeah.
And we will not allow our tea to be taxed.
But Jesus is king, though.
Well, you know, we at one point were almost a 90% Christian country.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Some of them, and I'll tell you, some of Southern Baptists, they're going to hold out for a long time too.
You said 90% Christian?
I would say probably, yeah.
No.
Yeah, nah. I think we got more. What's the right word? People that
remember, I'm
secular.
I'm talking more 20s, 30s than I am talking. We got to realize 90% of our immigrants that were coming over were also Christian of some sort, be it Orthodox, non-Orthodox. Well, there's always the Jewish people too. I forget them. So
Yeah.
I'll go like 80%.
A lot of Muslims, a lot of
I
Buddhists.
think Christianity might be at about 30%, and then
way more than that.
No, bro.
I,
No,
I,
there's people that say they Christians.
I'm
but
talking
they not.
historically, not today.
yeah, I think we got a lot of secular folks. I think that's the majority.
Since the 60s, the number of people who actually, I would say, follow Christian beliefs or direction have probably dropped by 60%. Because people are splitting off into a lot of agnostics, just being deists. Hey, there's a higher power, but I don't know much about it. You've got the people that are doing more of the there's a very large young movement of the mixing of Christian and Jewish mythology in together. You've got the spaghetti monster, you've got the Luciferianism. I mean, a whole bunch of new and different religions are popping up.
Yeah.
I mean, so and like the Mormon church is dying out because the kids walk away from the Mormon church. There's very few kids that are raised through the church anymore. And it's getting to the point where the more they try to retain membership of the younger kids, the more people start looking at them and going, are you a church or are you a cult?
Yeah, we got a lot of cults.
Well, all of them are cults. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Check this out right here. It says trans athletes banned from women's sports at Nassau County facilities. The ban is believed to be the first of its kind in the nation and goes into effect immediately. Yeah. What do y'all think? It says protect women's sports.
I don't understand. Because there's a ban. Oh, you're talking about the trans ban.
Yeah, it says trans athletes banned from women's
Okay,
sports.
you're asking me an opinion on a headline, and I need more information before I.
Well, it's
So-
Nassau County. It says the ban.
Okay, one. Where's Nassau County? Two.
Florida.
Trans athletes banned from women's sports at Nassau County facilities. Are they banned from sports? Are they banned from the facilities? Is
No,
it only
sports.
Nassau County? I mean, this is fucking outrage porn, dude.
Yeah, ABC7 posted this. So yeah, it doesn't have much.
Look, even
more
the
to it.
ABC7. Look at that. The ban is believed to be what ban? What about it? Come on, talk to me here. You're a news people. You've given me no news. You've given me a headline which I'm either going to agree with or not knowing anything about it. Trans athletes banned from women's sports. I'm okay with that. Trans athletes banned from county facilities. I'm okay with that too. I'm sorry, women's restrooms should be a safe space. I don't care if you identify. When you're in a place where you're going to be nude, you need to respect that it is a safe space for women. And no matter what you feel like, if you're a beaver with a cleaver hanging out, you should not be in there, especially if there may be people that are younger than 18 present.
Well, that's why we have more and more of those like restrooms that have like their individual use, like family restrooms. Like basically anybody can go in because you go in and you lock the door. It's like for one person, or if it's a family or whatever, and so it's just one person. That's how
what's
that's how they're
hilarious?
doing.
Remember the TV show Ally McBeal?
Mm-hmm.
The little lawyer show. Remember how they had the unisex bathroom, so they could use an interior bathroom shot and save money. But anyway, their lawyer place, they had a unisex bathroom. Men and women both went there, and all of that. All the talk about it was how that would never work because of lawsuits and potential for lawsuits and stuff like that. And now it's actually one of the things that is starting to pop up around
Everywhere.
People are starting to accept it. It's kind of like TV. People thought and cable. they were afraid that the government was going to be listening to you with your TV plugged in, and now it's actually one of the features that we look for when we spend money to buy a TV is that it will answer to us.
Yep. They get that buy-in over time. Y'all check this out. More clips from Trump's speech. I think this is the one. I don't know if it's in here, but the one where he was talking about the lights. I don't know if y'all saw that one. He was like, "It's so bright in here. I can't even see y'all. I can only see the black ones." Freaking hilarious to me. Let me play this. I don't know if this is that
A
one.
second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. But and then
Oh, that's the same one I played earlier.
Dude, I don't care how many charges you're up against, how many mugshots you get. Black people are not going to identify with you because you're a criminal. wrong kind of crime.
Yeah, well, I think he's sure to say that that's what people are saying.
If they caught him trying to rob a jewelry store or something like that, that would give him actually more street cred in the black community.
That's not true, man. Now, that's some bullshit racism right there. It sounds very fucking racist. That now we
That's an Ice-T joke, man.
Okay, Ice-T. Fuck Ice-T and whoever.
That's how he got his start.
No, he didn't. Talking about doing crime is not the same as doing crime.
No, he actually admitted it and has talked about it himself. How he went from gangster to jewelry store robber to musician to one of the first successful black heavy metal bands to ironically being one of the longest running black members of a TV show about being a cop.
All right. Well, you know what? It takes a lot.
I admire the man. You got to understand. I throw references to him all the time.
Without context, that is a very bold statement or comment to make. So without context,
that is exactly what they're accusing him of by making the statement like he is, of being a very bold move. Saying that, that's basically what he's trying to say is, I'm getting more voters from the black community because I'm being picked on, because I'm being persecuted by the law.
The words is discriminated against.
Yeah.
And that's the part that black people relate with, because we get discriminated against whether you're rich or poor. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's all about, trying to subjugate you, bring you down to, bring you down however many notches. But I mean, that's fine. I prefer that discriminated a bit more than, I'm sure. Yeah, he said he was going to play it later. So
yeah, I was looking for the other clip. I thought that was that, and I played that earlier. So
yeah, he's hitting the keywords and stuff. Yeah, I'm avoiding them deliberately.
Check this one out. It says Aaron Hawley helped overturn Roe versus Wade. Now the lawyer is taking the abortion pill fight to the Supreme Court. It says when the name Hawley comes up, Aaron might not be who comes to mind. You might think first of Republican Senator Josh Hawley, who often appears in headlines, including on January 6, 2021, when he raised a fist in solidarity with protesters shortly before things turned violent at the Capitol. Meanwhile, Aaron Hawley is often still described simply as Josh Hawley's wife, but by some accounts, the 44-year-old lawyer is having a far greater impact on American law than her lawmaker husband is. Aaron is a Yale Law grad and former Supreme Court clerk who spent the past 3 years as senior counsel at the conservative advocacy group Alliance Defending Freedom. There in 2022, she was part of the team that got Roe versus Wade overturned, the most consequential Supreme Court abortion case in the 50 plus years since Roe itself was decided. Now, Aaron, the lead attorney on the next most important abortion case, an effort to restrict mifepristone, a pill that currently used in more than half the abortions in the U.S. She has already argued and won at least partial victories in 2 lower courts, and the Supreme Court is set to hear oral arguments next month. Whether or not Aaron herself does the arguments, she'll be a key part of the team trying to persuade a conservative majority SCOTUS that a drug used by millions of women over 2+ decades with a rate of serious complications of less than 1% is too risky to be accessible. Aaron is a person who's moving the bill in different ways for the conservative movement, said a conservative lawyer and long-standing acquaintance of Hawley's who declined to be named for reasons evident in the next remark. Josh is a show pony. Aaron is a workhorse. It says, we analyzed her public appearances and writings and interviewed former classmates, colleagues, even critics to help illuminate the thinking of a leading figure inside the most important organization battling for religious conservative causes in the American court system. So, yeah, I didn't know much about this lady at all. So that's crazy. It's always these people that's kind of behind the scenes that get more stuff done. And here's an example right here. So now she's working on the pill. The abortion pill. She wants to get that out of there. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being successful at this. They were already making moves to restrict it from being able to being mailed or whatever from other states where abortion is illegal or whatever. I think this whole thing, that a big issue with this Roe versus Wade deal is leading to the states versus the states, which is what led to the Civil War back in the days, so that's something to think about. So, but then you got the Republicans who are pushing for the nationwide ban of abortion. Then that will be forcing the states to comply to something that the states don't agree with. So then that goes against what they like to argue as states' rights all the time. So it's like the Republicans are supposed to be the party of states' rights, but that doesn't fit with the nationwide abortion ban.
But here's where this Alabama battle taking place about, is a fertilized egg an actual child in the eyes of the law? We already have the precedent of if you kill a woman who's pregnant, it's 2 murders. So an unborn child technically already has rights for protection of life under the law, because you can't murder it. So if it's considered to be that state at fertilization, like Alabama's saying, then Plan B would be illegal because it would be murdering it the next day after fertilization already takes place.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then maybe they could hold you accountable for that and take you to jail for that.
I think it's. I know. Here's my crazy conspiracy theory about it. It's too easy to get. It's a 1% chance of problems, which is too high to be something that's over the counter. So instead, we're going to have to make you make a little appointment with the dude or the nurse at the CVS. They're going to have to sign off of them. That way, the government gets a taste of your insurance tax money, the money that got paid there to the people, and gets a little taste kickback from the drug companies.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too, because that would make a lot of sense actually. It's just more hands in the pot, so you're going to get not just the pharmaceutical companies getting money, you're going to get the places like Walgreens and CVS. You're going to have possibly the insurance companies, possibly, like Doc just said, the government.
Where have they been getting it before?
You could just get it mailed. You could just order it online and have it mailed to you.
Yeah, it's
some places you can just go pick it up.
It's an over-the-counter product. You don't even have to sign for it.
Yeah.
So you
can
mean
just-
tell me that you got to go through all this rigmarole to
Or-
get some sinus medicine,
Or
some,
wait,
some
no,
allergy,
it's
some
a bu-
allergy
it's a,
medicine.
no, yeah, it's a behind-the-counter product.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to go to the counter and be like, hey, I want that, kind of like,
Yeah, I need a plan B.
yeah. And it's back there. And
But
they'll
that
give it
might
to
have
you.
been their plan A.
What do you mean?
It's called Plan B, but it's some people's Plan A. Like, this is what I'm gonna do if this happens.
Well, you know, they are a hell of a lot more expensive than condoms by the box.
Yeah, they're expensive.
There's no fun in it.
And if you don't take, if it's a two-part piece process too, if you don't take it right, it can still not work.
Say, bro, some of these girls are addicted to getting their club shot up. Like, they like the feeling of the explosion.
Well, it doesn't help right now that it is very popular to have the pull-out game of Nick Cannon.
Because he obviously don't.
No, but
He's
man,
worse
y'all-
than you, Chaka.
It's good as a joke, but I mean, he's purposely doing these things. He's got contracts before he does this with these girls.
Yeah, he's trying
I
to
think
build
for young people,
build an empire.
He's part
Let's
of a
do
breed,
this one.
He's part of a breeding cult.
Okay.
It's the other side of
Let's do
eugenics.
Let's do this.
are getting more and more untenable in terms of just sort of surviving. I mean, financially, I don't know, it's kind of getting horrendous. It's kind of a bit of a joke, really. You know, we're paying so much money into tax. I live alone. I pay $1,200 in rent on my own. I have a full-time job and a part-time job to survive. I've got 2 degrees. And I think for young people, everyone's becoming quite disillusioned with the fact that we all work our asses off and we've got nothing to show for it anymore. It's kind of the sad thing. You know, Brighton obviously is just as expensive as London because we don't get the London waiting. You know, a lot of us live kind of slightly, paycheck to paycheck. I certainly do. It's halfway through the month and I've got like a £5 in my account. So it's sad for young people who are working their asses off, particularly people who have graduated from uni here and done all the degrees. And it's a shame. I think I think Tory rule has got a lot to answer for, let's be honest. I think for young
Yeah, and I think that the
At
United
least you're not
States.
in debt for those degrees.
Yeah, because I was about to say that people are in the same boat, but that is a different deal because you got to pay interest on that shit, and
So
them
at
damn
least
bills
you-
come every month.
At least you can go to the doctor when you're sick.
Yes, there you go. There goes another one. There goes another one. So it says Brighton woman
But
spills
that's why
out.
the government gets 40% of your fucking shit too.
Yeah, so maybe with her talking about paying $1,200 a month for her rent, maybe it hurts her more than it does somebody here in the States, because of the taxes that they have to pay. So, but the prospect of the young folks is pretty damn bleak, telling them to go to school, to get a degree, to get a job, to get paid $12, $14 an hour. Don't make any sense to these kids, and it don't make sense, and then with the situation where you can't buy a house, you can't, the credit card debt is crazy, the freaking student loan debt. I don't know, man. The price of groceries. There's this guy is trying to tell people that they should eat cereal for dinner now. And that's what they're pushing. It's like, it's cheaper to get some cereal. You can just eat cereal for dinner,
Well, yeah, that way you can carb it up right before you go to bed. Make sure you've got some nice active dreams because the sugar running around in your blood and then all of it'll be around your ass and stuff like that by the time it's done. You'll be able to start having to pay $800 a month for your diabetes medicine by the time you're fucking 27 because you live in this 15-minute city where everything is so fast and convenient to you that all you got to do is sit around on your ever-enlarging ass getting Taco Bell delivered to you.
Yeah.
That's the future that they're hoping for. That's
Yeah.
why I don't like 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
Look, this is one of the reasons why I like the guy that is running this almost, well, pretty much a no name until this week for me. Dr. Malcolm Tanner. He was just recently in Louisiana, you know, I guess you could say applying to be, you know, put on the ballot for president. And he's got some pretty strong things that he's saying he's trying to do. Some things I agree with, some things I don't. And I'm kind of in between, and I don't know, I think, you know, we all should try to, you know, maybe take a look at, you know, this dude, see what's going on. But he's average every day. I think he will be considered an African American, which I don't think that's ever happened in life, or actual African American that's been president, you know, or you know, actually running for president.
Well, you what? These have dual citizenship. I don't know how that would work. You have to be you have to be born in the United States to run for president.
Yes, but he's not an African. Like I said, he's
No, you have to be born on American soil.
You have to be born on American soil. So when I tell you that everybody that has ever been president were foreigners to, at some point, an African American really is the only one that, only people here that we could say, well, I mean, I guess depending on how you believe about the history, but because they'll say everybody's you know, a foreigner, but everybody is not. And African Americans are pretty much the people that are the closest to the not. You know, that's not from somewhere else.
Let me play this. This is what I was talking about.
Has always been quite affordable, and it tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure. So some of the things that we're doing is first messaging. We got to reach the consumer where they are. So we're advertising about cereal for dinner. If you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they might otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable. The other places that we like to go is we talk about making sure we have the right pack at the right price in the right place. So having a different size pack that'll have a different price point, that'll take some pressure off the consumer while they're shopping. So those are some of the things that we're doing. But in general, the cereal category is a place that a lot of folks might come to because the price of a bowl of cereal with milk and with fruit is less than $1. So you can imagine why a consumer under pressure might find that to be a good place to go.
Right. I'm all for innovation and marketing,
really?
but the idea of having cereal for dinner, is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
The cereal category.
Is there a potential for that to land the wrong way? Yes. Freaking, this is crazy. When they talking about Biden economics.
I covered that pretty good, I think.
Yeah. They talk about Biden economics and they talk about the economy is doing so well and all of that. Yeah. So, but then on the other hand, they're talking about families gonna eat cereal for dinner or whatever. So I guess that's what you need to invest in, right? Go invest in some cereals because people are gonna be eating cereal more because they don't have money to. The McDonald's, the price at McDonald's is gone up for
That's like
Big Mac meal.
That's like the bill collector. That's like the bill collector going, "Hey, you know, if you eat beans and rice once a night, you'd be able to make that payment, wouldn't you?"
You know, that's like when they be talking about the avocado toast. They're like, y'all, you could buy a house if you could just, you know, stop eating so much
and avocado toast.
Yeah, stop going to Starbucks and stop eating so much avocado toast, and you can go get you a house.
Hey, Starbucks is a scam and a bad company. Unless you invest in it, then they're a great company.
Well, look, I'm gonna say this, bro. Seeds cost a whole lot less than that. Start growing your own shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you know what happened to it. You know you ain't sprayed no bullshit on it. You know that you're gonna get fresh.
Yes, but that requires effort.
But it also requires
going to the grocery store takes effort.
Not as much effort and time as doing that.
And space. I mean, I live in an apartment. Where am I going to plant stuff at?
Man, stop it.
I mean, I could put some stuff in some pots, but I mean, how much is that? I'm gonna supplement my freaking food with some stuff that's coming out of some pots that I got
At
on my
least some of it.
balcony.
At least some of it, bro.
It's not gonna really make a difference, bro. I'm still gonna have to go to the grocery store. At the end of the day, I need some chickens.
You still
Hey,
gotta go.
on that side, I do encourage people to grow a few of the herbs.
Yes, for
and stuff like
spices, that can be something.
Say, grow you a couple of aloe veras, so you got aloe vera around. You know, some peppers,
I
some
would at least
spices.
applaud you if you're doing that. I mean, shit. You know how easy it is to grow green onions, like bell peppers. Like, I mean, like,
Dude, I've been living in a one room with 300 square foot apartment for the last 2 years. So, yeah, I just having not being able to touch the walls where I'm at right
I'm
now.
not in touch.
Is,
I guess I'm not in touch with reality. Because I mean, I know most people who are talking shit about having apartments and this, that, and the other has somebody that's close to them that has space.
no, I was literally living in a Motel 6 that turned into private studio apartments
Well, so
for 2 years.
You don't have a friend with a house?
If I had a friend with a house, I wouldn't have been stuck living out of an apartment for 2 years or out of a hotel.
So you don't have friends?
Not anymore. It seems like all the people I knew pretty much went everyone for themselves when the pandemic hit.
I'm gonna cry for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not tonight, because I'm too tired to do all that.
Oh
But,
no, laugh about it, man. It's all good.
No, I mean, no, I feel bad for anybody that doesn't have friends.
There's a lot of people from my past that I know, and we still get along.
Yeah. I mean,
That's not the same as friend. Like I have the privilege and the blessing to have a friend that from the age of 2 to now.
yeah. Well, not everybody has that, bro.
I know, that's why I said I'm gonna cry for him. You
Well,
know,
see, there's people I've known that I know that I converse with, but we're not. You know, we know each other, but we're not friends. Like, we know things about each other. We talk about shit.
I hear you.
Let me read this second slide right here. It says, I wonder if he thinks cereal is a nutritious enough dinner for his own family. Kellogg's company CEO Gary Pilnick, appointed in October 2023, has a tenure of less than a year. Total yearly compensation is $4.02 million, comprised of 19.7% salary and 80.3% bonuses, including company stock and options. Directly owns 0.13% of the company's shares, worth $1.7 million.
Well, see, he doesn't have to go to Kroger's and get his. He can go to Whole Foods.
Yeah, he good. It says, this made me cackle because there's no way I read this correctly. Has he ever had cereal for dinner? How did he feel in the long run? Yay, cereal for dinner, because we can't afford anything else.
Dude,
I mean, sometimes I'll choose that just out of the blue. You know, sometimes I might want some oatmeal or some cereal.
Yeah, me too. I like cereal.
I like grits. I mean,
me too. I like eggs. I'll eat eggs and pancakes or something, if I want to.
When I was raising my kid, I would give my girl and my kid the food and stuff, and I would pop some popcorn and drink a glass of water so it would swell up.
But it's a lot of parents out here, like they feed their kids and they'll eat what their kids didn't eat, because they just got enough food they want to make sure that their kids eat and they'll eat the leftovers.
Exactly.
And so, but this guy trying to sell the idea that it's cool to freaking eat cereal for dinner. Like, I mean, that's so freaking, like, I can't even find the words.
Not to say it's cool. Actually, hey man, eat cereal for dinner. But tagging along the fact that, hey, eat cereal for dinner because it's affordable, that's the fucking slap in the face.
Yeah, man.
That's
especially to somebody who knows the possibilities. because I'm pretty sure you guys know, like I know, there could be some legislation that's done that, caps the raising of prices on food, and maybe even the being able to lower these
Well,
prices.
I mean, it's a
Two
lot.
eggs and a couple of pieces of toast is cheaper.
And that's perfectly fine too. Like I say, I'll do that sometimes because I want to or whatever. But we got to look at this. Like, let's look at this. Part of it is, the conglomerates, the monopolies, right?
That's not
Kroger's is about to buy Albertsons, I want to say, and they're about to become the biggest grocery store chain in the United States. And this is where price fixing come in, and this is where price gouging come in. There's a report that came out by, I want to say, the New York Times, and they said that 30 to 40% of the inflation that we've been going through was as a result of corporations price gouging people, price fixing. You know what I'm saying? So this guy he's one of the people. He's part of CEO of Kellogg. They got a monopoly. Kellogg owns like half the damn cereal labels that you see or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So then they can sit in a room and chop it up and decide what the prices are and make the boxes smaller and the amount less and add more sugar to it or whatever, and fucking be like, that's how we're gonna make more money. Like, this is what we're talking about here. These people,
and they also that's also gonna clutter your heart up with the preservatives, the chemicals, all the red dye. I mean, well, not just the red ones, but all of the different dyes, all these things that they use in cereal that's killing you. It's like they're promoting you to eat something that's not already, not just already killing you, but that's to kill you even more, like faster, by having this as a meal for breakfast, lunch, or
it's
dinner.
all made from Monsanto corn in the first place anyway.
Yeah, so then you got the agricultural companies and the pharmaceutical companies all intertwined with each other. You know what I mean? Make them sick and then sell them the fucking cure. Like, it's so much fuckery in this headline that it's like making my head spin right now, thinking about it.
Bro, I mean, but if you fall for the okie doke, I mean, it's really all your fault, because like there's science, there's evidence everywhere.
It's not all my fault that these companies, it costs so much to go to the damn grocery store and they're price fixing and they're fucking charging me way more than I should be getting charged. Like, that's illegal.
If you change your diet because of what they're saying about, you should just eat cereal.
I got you. I hear you on that. Because I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm stupid if I do that. Like, I agree with you on that. But I just think that there was a time where they broke up. We have antitrust laws on the books.
But look,
all they have to be is enforced.
Look, this is one of the things that
but they've got two other companies that are in decent competition with them.
Yeah, but look, this is one of the things that they're saying, that this president, this candidate is saying.
Or it appears that they're in competition. Go ahead.
But no, listen, this presidential candidate that I just told you about, that's one of the things that he says, that he's going after the corporations, the food, the people that's poisoning the food. And because, I mean, a lot of, like, there's a countless amount of chemicals that's illegal anywhere else on the planet, any other country except here. So
yeah,
that's one of the things that he's going to go at right away.
You have to go after the Food and Drug Administration, because they shady.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. When Ramaswamy was talking about all of those government agencies and getting rid of them all practically overnight, people was like, "Oh no, that's wrong. You're gonna put people out of jail. I mean, put people out of work." And it's like, yeah, but they're killing you.
Yeah,
and that's the part that, like, people are overlooking. It's like, look, a lot of y'all may not do any homework, but pay more attention to the people who do, because like we've been crying out that, hey, look, this is not cool. Like, I don't know how
I,
many videos I've shared with people like, look, this is what they do with your food. Like,
yeah, but I don't agree with just doing away with. And we need an agency like that. It needs to be monitored. It needs to be,
but you need to get rid of that agency and maybe recreate with different policies, different laws actually in place that protects the people from the shit that they have evolved into. Like, because in the beginning, maybe it was a great thought in the beginning, but because of what they allowed, the different legislations that they've allowed to come in and say this thing is okay, but it's killing you. And,
yeah, but see, that'll go back to the argument we had before in the show where we were talking about regulation. And I was like, regulation is not a bad thing, but it's like they want to take away regulations for everything and just let people just do whatever the hell they want to do. Like, that's the reason why we got trains fucking derailing and spilling shit.
When it comes down to science, I think that we have to be able to trust science, like real science again, instead of people's opinions, because we're talking about chemicals that they're saying, oh no, you'll be okay. Yeah, just because it doesn't kill you today, it doesn't mean that it's not killing you today.
Yeah. So
Like,
that's
I mean,
where regulations
there's
need
a
to be.
there's generations before us that we was able to live with and see that was eating certain foods and not getting diabetes and not getting high blood pressure, not
Right.
getting a lot of different things that we're getting at 40 and 50 years old.
It's the preservatives that's the worst thing. So it's like everything that's coming out of a bag. Like they ate fresh foods.
It's putting
back
your
then.
heart in cardiac arrest, and you're saying that, oh, well, it's safe. Safe to what?
Yeah.
What how are we defining safe now?
Let me read a couple comments. It says, hearing wealthy folks put a marketing spin on poverty is wild. Another one it says, eat the rich instead. Another one it says, pasta, rice, and beans are affordable. Some cereal is over $5 a box, and they feel it like a effing chick bag half the way. These people have lost their minds.
Yeah, I mean, and when they try to use the conversation that, how cheap it is, hey, it's like $1 a bowl. I don't know about that. And
Yeah.
even if it is that or even cheaper, it's not really the best choice. I mean, there's very few
Yeah.
cereals that I would definitely that I would put my confidence in.
Actually, it is pretty cheap, but only if you're buying either from Kellogg's, only their corn flakes and their Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
Actually, not the Frosted Flakes. I buy the cheap ass cereal, the malto meal crap. That's like
off brands,
fruity nuggets instead of fruity pebbles.
I'm a Chex and Cheerios type of dude.
Yeah, but you still got to buy the milk, and then what nutrition value are you getting from it?
I've always got milk anyway. I drink much milk.
Well, your body can handle it better than ours.
Let me read a couple more. It says, reminds me of those millennials can't afford kids. Have they tried just not eating? Article a few months back. Another one that says, boycott Kellogg's. The only concrete power we have is the purse. Another one that says,
they've been trying to promote you to being a breatharian. You just breathe. If you breathe the right way, you can just live off of that alone.
But only if you don't live in a city.
Yeah, because what you're breathing is freaking killing you.
let's do this one right here. It says the amount of former President Donald Trump owes in his New York civil fraud case is $454 million plus $111,000 of post-judgment interest accrued each day. In New York, former President Donald Trump's bills are racking up. The judgment in his civil fraud trial was officially entered with the court today at $454 million for him alone. Plus, Trump is now accruing over $100,000 of post-judgment interest each day. This is on top of the recent $83.3 million verdict against him in the E. Jean Carroll defamation trial. Yeah, man. So let me ask y'all, do you think this dude has this cash Does Trump have the cash to pay this stuff?
He doesn't need it.
Well, nobody has the cash because that type of cash is illegal to have.
You declare Chapter 11 restructuring, reduce all of your bills, stuff like that, and drop all civil liabilities, and then reopen under a new tax number.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work because then they can go in and seize all of his because all of the assets
only of the companies involved,
which is New York, the
specific LLCs.
Yeah, so all of those Trump towers, all of those Trump hotels.
Each one is going to be under a separate LLC.
I don't know. I think if it's under his name, that's good enough for them to go and get it. And I think that's the direction that it's going into. They're going to start.
Yeah, they got to find a way to take everything away from him.
They're going to start seizing some assets to pay this debt. You're not going to be able to wiggle out of this. I don't think so.
You'll be surprised.
I don't see it.
I think his lawyers are better than the state of New York's.
I don't know, man. This is a lot of money. Freaking, I wonder how much his lawyer fees are with all of this stuff he's got going on. Yeah, man. I don't think this dude has that cash. I don't think he could get the cash. He would have to sell some stuff or whatever, and then that takes time, and then the interest is steadily going up. He's screwed, man. Like I say, I think they're gonna end up taking some assets, selling it at pennies for the dollar. He's gonna get screwed out of this. I don't think it'll stop him from becoming president, but it's gonna hurt his pocketbook.
Well, his books have been hurt, I believe, and him, whether he has that money liquid or not, I don't think it matters either way. I don't think he intends to pay the fines, and he'll spend more time in court trying to fight whatever it is because that's who he is. So, I mean, I think that he can come up with the money, whether it's through the shoes or his base actually, donating and giving them monies. But
Yeah, they gotta GoFundMe, but them shoes.
Did he actually start?
454.
You said that Trump started his own GoFundMe. Is that true, or is that?
I don't think he started it. I mean, it doesn't matter who started it.
It matters.
I don't see what it matters.
It matters to me because when you say something like that, like, okay, now if his fans, his supporters and stuff started it, I have way more respect for him. If he started a GoFundMe to try to pay for his court shit, you's a bitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to find the money some kind of way. I mean, it is what it is.
I hear you, but you got all these supporters and nobody's gonna do it for you or try to help you out. I mean, you counting on them to. I mean, honestly, I can't see him actually signing up for GoFundMe and asking people to come, help him out.
That's exactly what he's doing. And those shoes aren't gonna cover that 454 million. Like, that's not gonna happen in no time frame. No.
So
that's a lot of money.
So was that supposed to be a combined number of all of his properties, or is that just?
No, that's what they're suing him because he made so much money related to overvaluing his assets and getting loans on those amounts. So he made a lot of money. So then they
But
are
did he pay
saying
the people back?
What people?
that he borrowed the money from.
He probably still has a lot of those loans out. I mean, that's like beside the point. The point of it is it's fraud. It's fraud to say something is worth more than it is and then borrowing against that. That's
But
against the
bro,
law.
if you're not gonna do that to everybody, shut the fuck up and go take a nap. Like if
I mean,
it's
people
fraud,
have gone to jail
if
for
it,
this.
I wouldn't
I
own a car if it wasn't for that.
look, there's a bunch of people that's doing the same thing
I
every
wouldn't have an apartment to live in if I wasn't for that.
for what?
Inflating my net worth so I
Oh,
look like I'm making more on paper than I actually do.
Well, it's illegal regardless of how you want to,
yeah, but they're not going after everybody because of that. Like they're
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
is
People go to jail for this all the time.
people. Okay, people go for it, but this is not one of those things that
No,
like
they get fined.
Yeah. You don't pay, you go to jail.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just say I think it's bullshit. That because I mean, for one, like I said, there's people in the same position. Like there's people right now that's got more money than Trump that's doing the same thing just to, you know, avoid paying
We're
taxes and
we're
doing this.
we're 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 messing with his joy of Trump getting spanked.
Well, no,
He's
that's
get,
fine.
I am enjoying it.
Can't you hear the joy in his voice?
Yes, I know, because
I
I mean,
am.
I hear it. I mean,
He doesn't care about
but
any other side,
I
any
don't want to
facts,
hear. I don't want
anything
to hear
like
him say
that.
that. I don't
He
want to
doesn't
hear
want
him
any
say that he's
answers.
not
If
because he
people do stuff
protects.
against
He
the law, they
protects.
should be held accountable regardless of
Yeah,
who the hell they are.
but you
Nobody's
don't
above the law.
but you don't believe that about Biden.
Pelosi.
You don't.
I've covered stuff about Biden
Whether you
plenty of
cover it or not,
times.
you still defend them.
Yeah, but all
That
of
is
that
not
came
true.
out before this, so technically, shouldn't it be handled in proper order? But no, they wanted this guy worse.
Look, you started this podcast off saying that you think that people have misconceptions about your stance on politics. And the reason that that's the case is because you say things that you know, that sounds very much like you supporting one side over another. And which is fine. Like, I prefer someone who firmly takes their stance and is proud of it.
Yeah, I
But
stand
at the
on whatever the hell I stand on. That's why we be
well,
arguing on the show all the time.
yeah, but it's very confusing for you to say what you believe on this side, but at the same time, it's totally contradictory of what you may have previously said. So I'm like my whole thing is like it's okay if you love Biden. You want to
I've
you're black
never
you're black because you voted for him. I'm
I've
just
never. I hold Biden accountable the same as I hold Trump accountable. It's like, hey, people do wrong, they do wrong, they should be held accountable regardless who they are.
but when you say that there's no proof about Biden and his family his son taking money or his brother taking money, well, they trying to put President Biden in this, you're trying to put Joe Biden in this, and this is his family doing it. But you're gonna ignore the fact that the reason why that they're able to do what they're doing is because of his position in his office, and he knows this as much as you do.
I never said that.
And who is the mysterious, the big guy?
But I mean, it's cool. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fuck with you, but at the same time, I'm just really just like people don't keep the same energy with Biden that they have with Trump. Like they make excuses, if they're left leaning that day, they they definitely will go to bat. Like they will take a bullet for him. And I mean, I say sometimes I'm like, look, I don't care about either side, either party, but sometimes it's a lie, because sometimes I do care about the party, because it looks like one is, especially when we're talking about certain conversations, I'm a nationalist. So, when you doing shit that's more globalist leaning, I'm against you, even if you're a Republican. But um, I think I need to call it a night.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it.
Yeah.
I gotta work tomorrow.
I do have a short update. Remember when Nikki Haley was Trump didn't get on the ballot in the Republican convention there, and Nikki Haley won? Well, I just found out she kind of didn't win. She actually took second place.
What, in South Carolina?
The one where Trump didn't get on, they forgot to get him on the ballot. So Nikki Haley was the only Republican really on there. Well, she did not actually win the nomination. She took second place to no viable candidate. To no other candidate.
Yeah. I want to say I covered that. Yeah, most people, they voted for no viable candidate, whatever it was. It was another box.
There was one for I don't want any of the. I don't want to vote for any of them for my Republican person.
Yeah.
And no candidate beat Nikki Haley, and I believe that was her home state.
It is.
That's
South
embarrassing.
Carolina.
She should have dropped out right after that.
Yeah,
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
take second place to no one, and no one won, I think, with a 60% vote or something
Listen,
like that.
Look,
That's crazy.
Look, somebody that she appointed to office is against her. And that's when it's really getting bad. Somebody who somewhat owes their career, or at least a portion of their career, to a decision that she made, and you don't support them in the long run.
Let's do this last one right here. It says, since the start of Operation Lone Star, Governor Greg Abbott has sent well over 100,000 migrants out of Texas. The cities like Washington, D.C., New York, and Chicago. Tonight at 10 p.m., now the 13 investigates team has all the state records to do the math on how much each of one of these one-way tickets is costing you, the Texas taxpayer. So, yeah, this dude is spending a lot of money to do this. Let me play this.
But less than it would take to house and feed them all.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
but
This
they're
is politics. You
going
couldn't
to-
just. It's
They're
better
not-
than just leaving them on the street. And
This is
with nothing.
business. This isn't politics.
They're not housing and feeding migrants anyways.
Yes, they
That
are.
shit is not happening.
Yes, they are.
Where?
All over this country, and especially in
Um,
Texas, because
I
this is
know
where
for
they
a
come.
fact that we got bounced out.
Do you see people on the? Do you see millions of people on the street?
That's why I'm saying that shit is full of shit when they talk about those numbers of how many people coming in. It's bullshit. Where they at?
Most of the people that's on the street are American
How
citizens.
many apartments you've seen in the more ethnic areas of the town with like 6, 8, 9 people living in a 1 or 2 bedroom?
Man, you better come to Baton Rouge. I will show you where
Those people are
crap,
getting
yeah.
sent back. Those numbers that they come through where they talk about this, like, how would they even know? Let's say, they talk
do you
about
mean, how would
100,000
they-
people coming through. Where is the records of that shit? If they're coming through illegally and they're coming into the country, then how do they get those numbers? Where do they get those numbers from? They get those numbers from where they show up at the places and then they get their asses sent back. That's where they're getting those numbers from.
Well, we
How
know the
else?
term-
Otherwise, they're just speculating
And
and
so
pulling
you're
numbers out
telling
of
me
their ass.
you're telling me absolutely not a single person gets through or around.
No. Well,
I'm
We
not
get
saying that.
100. You actually
no,
are.
I'm saying where would they get the
saying
numbers
where-
from? If
where
these
you're
people
getting
aren't,
the numbers,
if they're
yet
sneaking
you're-
in, if they're making it
you're
in,
saying-
how would they get where would they get the numbers from?
How many do you think are getting through?
Chaka,
You're not
let-
answering
let
that
me say-
question.
let me-
We're breaking down the answer to your question.
But no, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something, because I mean the usage of words is very compelling, because illegal is maybe not the perfect word to use because, Joe Biden went against the, Constitution and the proper way for immigration. So that's why the terminology of illegal, but pretty much made it illegal for them to do a catch and release. So we can, regardless of how you use it, the terms, this is something against what we know as to be proper protocol. So that's why it's called illegal. So is it totally illegal? No, it's really not. But we really have to, be careful to just say, oh, these people are not going through the proper the process to getting in, especially at this rate, which we consider to be somewhat dangerous. So
If you're that worried about the whole difference between me saying illegal and undocumented, am I going to have to start asking your pronouns?
yes, because now undocumented is probably the better terminology to use, but illegal, no, I'm not gonna say it's illegal because, like I said, his
What I'm talking about is the numbers that they're pulling out of their ass about the
no,
numbers.
they
of
they
people
know
crossing the
exact
border.
no, they
They're
know
not
exact
pulling them out of their ass. Though.
they
They've
know
got records
exactly
of
how many people. They know exactly
How?
who's
How would they know that if they're coming through illegally?
If
They're
you
sneaking past the border patrol or whatever the
can you
hell.
stop can
How
you
would
stop
they determine those numbers?
Can you stop your stubbornness for a minute and listen to there is a process. It's
Do you
called
understand math?
It's called catch and release. They can't deport them. They can't put them in jail. They have to. When they come in, they can hold them for a little while. No more. I don't think more than 72 hours or whatever. Just like you would for prison, whatever. And you have to let them go. So they have a specific count. Like they know exactly how many people are coming. Exactly.
That's not true.
That is true.
There's no way.
What are you talking about? They right there standing there watching these people pour in and not being able to do anything. They can't send them back. They can't deport them. Like they have a very close record. Yes, maybe there are some slipping through the cracks, but that's not as many as what they are able to count. And when they tell you that number, know that it's more than what they just told you.
The border is like how many hundreds of thousands of miles across?
Man,
There's no way.
All right, look, there is way. What
There's
are you
no
talking
way.
about, bro? There's
no way. They're using satellite fucking. I don't know.
Like I just told you, when they tell you a number, no, it's more than that because that's the number that they've been catching.
So
And
out of
releasing.
all of those numbers that came in, how many of them got sent back?
What you talking about in the beginning, like with hate? 'Cause
Processed and deported. None of them?
Nobody's getting processed.
Come on, man. Come on. We just did a story about the Haitians.
Okay.
You don't want to listen to anything.
No, you don't see that there's a double standard in some cases. Like, bro, like, come on, man.
How many of those out of those numbers that they
You're being
throw
stubborn,
around,
bro. You're being
how many of
stubborn
them
with this.
people were sent back? How many of them were sent back?
How many people got through that weren't caught?
Yeah, I'm saying
More than
A lot more than got sent back.
Yeah,
how can you say that? There's no way to
Because I
determine
live
that.
here close enough to the
Okay, so
border
don't-
that I read and I pay attention.
Don't
I
trust
know
any,
people from the community that actually is part of those migrants. I
Don't
talk
trust
to
any
them.
numbers.
I don't just sit behind a computer and read Instagram.
Yeah, don't trust no numbers then. Don't come with no statistics ever.
Oh, they just pulling them numbers out of the ass. Anyways, let's play this.
Okay,
Check it out. Check it.
but I'm just telling you, you can't use statistics ever again.
Okay.
Look at that and say, yes, that is a high cost. But then they'll also say there would be a cost if those individuals stayed here in Texas.
Political analyst Mark Jones says the moving of migrants has been political gold for the governor here at home.
The Abbott administration is very sensitive to complaints by Democrats being attacked for effectively being inhumane. Many Texans will look at that and say, yes, that is a high cost. but then they'll also say there would be a cost if those individuals stayed here in Texas.
Political analyst Mark Jones says the moving of migrants has been political gold for the governor here at home.
Yeah, the administration.
Damn, they only played the clip. Anyways, it says since the start of Operation Lone Star, I already read that. I thought they were going to talk about the amount, how much it cost. Like I saw a clip about that, but they didn't say the amount here.
But that's fine. But a one-way ticket if you pay $3,000, even if you had to pay $3,000, give them a first-class ticket or what, that's still gonna be cheaper than them staying here for a year, 2 years, shit, even a month.
But see, then you've also got sending them to places like New York, who is now shutting down schools, forcing the kids to do home learning, which we saw how well that went during the pandemic. And they're using the schools to house the migrants that are getting overflowed.
But look, nobody wants to look at this
so-
immigrant thing as a pandemic too, or at least an epidemic. Like this is something that's going crazy right here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
like the word epidemic better than I like invasion.
Yeah, I mean, this is truly an epidemic because I
Well,
mean,
well, if you're Abbott and you're shipping them to other parts around the country, then you're not helping the problem. You're exacerbating it.
man, stop it. What are you talking about? When you've
They're
already
still here in the United States. They're
Bro,
not somewhere
but
else.
listen-
They're
but
in
listen-
another state.
No, but listen.
How is that helping?
How can
Because
you,
instead
how
of
can you not give a
hundreds
shit
of
about your
thousands
own
of people being paid and handled off of our taxes, the burden is spreading amongst the states. I thought you were a good socialist.
They're still inside the United States.
Yeah,
They're
But
still
instead
here.
of one
but
state
Texas-
paying
but
all
Texas
the
is
money
supposed to
for
suffer.
them, it's
Is
now
Texas
spread
supposed to
out
suffer?
to all the.
Well, they're making the argument that it's an invasion. It's an invasion that you're spreading across the United States. You're not helping this problem.
But
It's
to
an
all of these
epidemic.
sanctuary cities who've opened their arms to them, we're sending them there so we can spread the burden, the
Chaka, why
financial
you being
burden
stubborn?
out. What's
Why you being
wrong with
stubborn about
that?
Those
Why
other
are you-
states,
he's back in
purposely
school.
doing this.
Those other states,
He's back in school. He always gets like this.
No,
those other states have no borders with the other
stop
countries.
this. No, just hold on. Just let's make some just common sense. Why? Well, if there's like, do you really believe that Texas should take in 27 million new people in a 3-year period without the rest of the country helping out with this? When
Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California.
Besides the fact that their
To be
numbers are ridiculous,
it doesn't matter.
No, I don't agree that Texas should be accepting 27 million
okay, so
immigrants.
when they do the
The
nation
United
sponsor-
States shouldn't be taking in 27 million
okay,
illegal immigrants.
That's been our argument the whole fucking time.
Exactly.
But if you're just shipping them to another state, you're not helping the problem. I mean, I don't know how you're not hearing that. What I'm saying.
But listen,
Well, let's see. So what? How would
Chaka-
it be helping the problem if we put them all in fucking tent cities and camps and kept them? How would it be helping them in any way? How would it be helping the country spread the burden instead of forcing it all on
One
Texas,
state.
which is actually what the presidency was doing?
Yeah.
If they're saying it's an invasion, why are they shipping them to another state? Why are they not shipping them to
If it's an
freaking
invasion,
outside?
if you
of
have
the
a
United
valid
States?
argument, then why are
you
the
can
other
see-
states accepting them?
This is how you're able to accept terminology from one party over another, because you and I'm sure you don't even realize it, but at the same time, that's just you know how politics work, and they use tough, extreme words to categorize or to explain something,
Like
and
invasion.
Okay, and they use invasion, and then just like Doc just said, an epidemic is probably a better way to explain it, but they use invasion because to some extent, I believe that it is, but because some of the people, when we see some of the people that's coming,
You're trying to use that language as absolutist, which by
Yes.
definition on this show already means you're arguing in bad faith.
And that's why some people believe that you believe in your politics is one way over another.
When you start going to class, what I think is going on is you're talking about the shows and the ideas from the show. You're getting into class, and you get in that energy with that class, and you've got a lot of more hardcore lefter leaning people in your classes, and you get in that energy, and it feels good, and it's all right, and everything. But
I thought I was the extremist here.
it doesn't come. No, you both are. You are almost as far right. He doesn't swing as far left as he used to. He's coming back toward the center a little bit.
But with this type of argument, it is very far left because
No,
I mean, if you're in the center, you have more of a leniency on the fact that okay, if it's these numbers of people, then of course this one state can't handle it. You don't fight. You don't fight.
So your
screaming
solution
he's
is spread
screaming
them.
for answers, and any answer he's given or any reason he's given, he's arguing with and just shutting it down without trying to consider either both sides, what's going on. The fact that, like I said, it spreads it out. The fact that no responsibility of the federal government is being taken in this case whatsoever. No aid from the federal government was given in any way.
And then even when we talk
this
about
is
the
a very
Constitution.
complex issue. What's going on? And it's
Texas
being
is trying
made
to
very political.
supersede the federal government anyways. The federal
he's not-
government are the ones that's
no,
supposed to deal with immigration,
no.
not the state.
But
they're
they're
both
dealing with it.
No, they're doing things that they legally have the right to do to protect themselves from what they believe to be an invasion. Whether we can easily
If
say
they, if
it's
they
an
legally
epidemic.
have the right to do it, then why is the federal government suing them for this stuff?
Because the same way that they're suing the federal government for not doing what they believe they should be doing. You think the U.S. government is the only one that's got a lawsuit? Like these are countersuits that they're saying. Like really, against Texas, these are countersuits against Texas because Texas has been suing them since 2021.
I don't understand how the
Actually,
solution.
we've been trying to get aid for the southern border since right after 9/11.
They had on the table. They had two bills coming, one from the House and one from the Senate. Trying to get fucking funding for the border, for more border agents, for more security, so they could put up freaking surveillance cameras and all of this shit.
Most of all is to change the catch and release. The main thing that they've been trying to get them to change is the catch and release. Like at least they can deport them. Like they don't even have the right to send them back to their own country or to another country. Like
if Texas is taking it upon themselves to deal with the immigration, then how come they're spending the money to send them to another state instead of spending the money to send them to another country? Or back where they came
because
from.
we're not allowed
law,
to send them to another country.
If you
we
understand
can release them within the country, and they are being released in accepted sanctuary cities.
But they're already
ones that
doing
have claimed that you can bring them here.
But they're already doing stuff that they're not allowed to do, like stopping border patrol agents from going to the border and dealing with the immigration,
Actually,
which is their job.
They were never barred from the area. They were limited use of the area, though.
They blocked them. They put up freaking blockades and wouldn't let them get
go
there.
back and read it after all the friggin' corrections came out.
Yeah, please.
Because they proved that they always had access. They were just not giving them access to a certain area in there.
They don't want to fix the problem. They're using this as a political tool.
No.
That's it. Period.
So
it's something to scream and complain
Neither
about.
side wants to fix this problem right now. They want to blame the other side to try to get votes.
That's what it's all about. Is getting votes.
Do you really believe that they was hoping for Biden to change this law so that they can have this to use as political fire?
Yes, they don't. They won't let it happen under Biden because then that'll
why
be
would Trump?
bargaining.
So
That'll be a
why would Biden
political.
do it if he knew that this is something that would be used against him?
Not used against him. It will be used as support for him. The people would
How
have
is it?
support for him as a result
don't
of
know-
it.
but nobody
That's the
has
reason why they
support
want
for
to
him.
push it until Trump gets in there, and then
Nobody
they're
has
going to
support
pass
for
it
him.
and say that Trump is the one who did it.
And they'll
That's
also
what's
say
happening.
that
No,
if you
that's
and
not
they'll also
true. I
say
don't
if you
believe that.
support this bill, you support the war in Ukraine and you support Israel over Palestine.
Look,
If that's not true, Pat, then
do
why
you
they
realize
won't
that the
pass
whole-
the law then? Why they won't
Why
pass
who-
it? It's in the Senate.
Because they don't want to keep funding a war we're losing anyway. Like they are keep using these different bills to put in billions of dollars of money that we don't have to send to other countries.
But
And
if
they're
they
like,
feel like the border issue is an invasion, it's
Man,
the
stop it,
biggest.
man.
If they feel like it's the biggest issue,
How come
Do
once
you-
again
of our
I
time.
feel like
Do you
I'm
really-
the only one
So,
here that's actually
stop.
read that bill?
Let me ask you something. Do you really support the Israel shooting up and killing Palestinians and Ukraine continuing a war that they lost from the beginning? Do you support that?
Absolutely not.
So stop talking what you're talking about right now.
Because how you get things done in government is by giving concessions. It's by one side getting something they want and the other side getting something they want, and that's how things work. That's the balance of the
choosing
of
the
the
lesser
government.
evil.
Yeah.
By choosing the lesser evil.
I
I will
can't- I
not
can't
vote
do
for
this no more,
anything that gives more money to those two wars.
I can't do this no more, man. Look,
Especially when that money was added on in one of the 2 or 3 passes it's made through the Senate. It was not on there in the first place.
The Republicans have the majority in the House. They can introduce a standalone bill for the border.
say, bro, if they look, and maybe they can, and maybe they haven't written it well enough, but it's been by a lot of these votes have been by one person, by one vote.
And then it goes to the other chamber and gets voted down, like this one has been 2 or 3 times already.
Man, look,
This is not the first time this bill has come up.
No, it hasn't, and like they keep trying. Like the whole thing is like manipulating the whole thing, and like they created the whole problem, but you want to point the finger at Texas. Like the United States federal government has created the entire problem, and they want to utilize these things to try to sneak in other ways to rob us. And you're just like, oh, they should have just took the deal if they really want. No, say, bro, like we didn't got invaded. I'm gonna just tell you, you need to get your a couple of guns, a lot of ammo, because I'm gonna just like it just don't look good. I sent some videos, and some of the people that's coming in when they interview them, they have the lamest excuses for why they came. It's not even asylum, bro. Like you really are being invaded.
It's
right
because
in
they
your
know
own
if they
state.
get here, they will be taken care of.
It's not just that. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it's just that they are getting taken care of, because yes, they are getting taken care of. That's a definite. But it's more to it than that. Like this is the whole globalist agenda to get other people in, because we have the most guns. We have the population of most guns, and they got we're not gonna really go fight each other. We might argue, but in most cases we're not gonna fight each other. So they need somebody to fight us, and they bringing these people in. And if you want to be naive enough to just believe that, oh, this is all innocent play, I got another story. You might not be here to see the other side of it.
Yeah. So what about the Haitian immigrants or the Ukrainian immigrants or the ones from Afghanistan? All of these people are coming over here to
Let's
take
play
over.
a game of whataboutism.
Say,
So-
bro.
But I'm
when I
going with
asked you
this
what-
argument that he's making. So these people are coming over here to take over. That doesn't make any sense. That's
You're
crazy.
Picking random shit and trying to apply the same logic and everything.
We're talking about immigrants, and I'm just choosing specific groups.
Okay, yeah, but you're also choosing things that are happening for different reasons and stuff going on,
Well,
trying to apply them all to a universal rule.
People from
Well,
Cuba, people from
ignorant.
Venezuela.
Well, one of the things that he when you ask that question, we're still talking about problems that your federal government started, because there was a resolution about to happen before they decided not to, to be diplomatic in this situation and to allow, push the button, push the issue for Putin to do what he did to protect himself and try to make him the enemy. Like, bro, it's so many different things in this that it's just like almost ridiculous. It almost sounds like you really don't know what has been happening. Like you're just picking something just to be having an argument to argue. Like you just want to have the back and forth.
I'm saying it's all bullshit. It's a political. The border is an issue, but the way that they're dealing with this is using this as a political tool. Period. It's all about getting votes, and they don't care about fixing.
The problem
they can
to
fix
me
it tomorrow.
The problem to me is who you're blaming.
How?
No, it ain't gonna fix. But no, it's too
No,
much of a problem now.
By passing the legislation
No,
to
it will
send
not.
money to the freaking border to have
that's
more
another
border
reason why they
agents.
won't
to
sign it,
have
because they know
more.
it
You
doesn't
really think that that's going to stop this flow?
It's. I mean, like
Did
I said,
you
the
read
numbers.
The bill? Did you read the bill? I know I did.
Until this week, until last week, whenever it was that
You
Biden
didn't
changed
even
his
know
mind.
there was money to Ukraine and Israel in there when we first
I-
started talking about this bill.
I covered this. I covered this in the show. I
And
covered
you
this.
didn't
Yes.
know about that money. I brought it up in the show because
Okay.
I was explaining to you then why it was getting voted down. When you were trying to tell us the only reason it was being voted down was because Trump said so. And now you've changed to a different tune, but still the same song.
No, I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same thing. Trump doesn't want it to pass underneath Biden.
No,
He wants to get the freaking
No,
recognition.
he wants
for
a
it.
more extensive bill.
You know what?
He doesn't want this Band-Aid. He wants a fucking med center.
Yes.
No, that's bullshit.
No, it's not.
No, that's bullshit. That's him
I
pushing
think
it
they
to
looking for
hopefully
a
pass
real
when he gets
answer.
in there. It's gonna be the same ass bill.
Say, bro.
It's gonna be the same shit.
Look, there's no reason to bring in other countries into our immigration problem, like trying to send money somewhere else for the sake of being able to get our border secure is so un-American, and that's the part that most Americans have a problem with, is that especially the ones who really understand what's going on. The ones that don't is like, oh, they this is political bullshit. They could have just signed and went on about their business, and everything would just be fine and dandy today. But that's not true, because guess what? Every time we fund these wars, we create more hate for us, our people, because we're supporting something that should not be supported. And then we're steadily letting in the people that will come over here and say and be happy to kill us because we're doing stupid shit like this, or allowing our government to do this dumb shit by supporting foolish wars. Like, bro, hey man, I'll come back tomorrow. We can pick this up tomorrow. I kind of feel like it. I don't know why we having this conversation like this, because you way too bright to not see it. And I think that you just have to open your mind a little bit more to really get to the bulk of, why some of these things are not good decisions, bro. And it's not just because they trying to, yeah, there's political shit in it, period. But at the same time, like, to actually have something that's going to solve some, because I mean, we still going to have these multi-million people new here in the country, which could be a benefit. But we can't keep making stupid decisions supporting things that we don't believe in. Like that is insane. So, you know, maybe that's why, maybe I'm, not, in the position to really be a politician, actually hold an office, because, I would lose my mind the first year, because, I want shit to make sense, and most people just don't.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Y'all
I
have,
was trying to get out of here
yeah.
30 minutes ago. So
Hey man,
yeah, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I'm coming back. I'm gonna do Sunday night show. So
all right, cool
I'm gonna
deal.
organize some stuff and make sure
Look
I
up
got
that guy I was
something.
telling you about, so that we can kind of go across what it is. He's getting kind of popular. He's
You
holding
said you
meetings.
sent it in the group?
Yeah, I sent I think I sent the thing in the group. If not, I'll send it again. I'm sharing it with as many people as I can, because I think we need another option. And as ridiculous as us voting for Biden or Trump, I mean, why not go that far and vote for this guy?
Yeah.
Let's go
Well,
totally crazy. This is the beginning of the end. This might
there's
be the end
Roka.
of this might be the end of the end.
Yeah.
But
That's what I'm saying. The beginning and the end. Anyways, man, peace and love. Thank y'all for
Right
joining.
now, I'd be vote for The Rock.
peace and love.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace and love. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. All right.